off of
video
that and
itself.
let's get off on this now. Let's go. Let's.
Oh, all right. So it's this kind of
Now,
screen.
please welcome the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Oh, look at him shuffle out.
Oh my god.
Hey, how you doing?
He's mumbling something.
He literally looks like a zombie. Holy shit.
He looks like there's a rod down his back.
He
You know.
looks like a Redead from Zelda. It's like his skin. It's like he looks like he's wearing. He looks like he's wearing the fucking real skin mask that everybody has when they rip off their face mask and it's someone else underneath and like Scooby Doo. That's what he's wearing.
Yeah,
right now.
he's like one of those skin stealer skeletons from Kenshi.
By the way, is it showing up on screen? Like,
It's showing up for me.
Well, you
no,
guys
okay,
aren't seeing it because of the loud equals funny. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
He looks
you're
like
good.
a fucking.
I didn't have stream live.
Yeah. No,
You can probably decrease the size of that loud equals.
We
funny.
can
No. What you can do is turn the opacity.
Yeah, I can probably
Maybe
what is that in,
80% or
filters or
75?
something. How do I?
I'd put it at like 50.
Oh, I'm almost certain it's like filters or.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm bad with OBS. I'm very
What's
dumb.
that? Add filter. Is it?
Yeah, just like just crunch the contrast.
I don't know, man. I think it's
It's like, chroma key, maybe I'll do it. Hang on. I really hope that whoever said that was actually telling the truth. And we're not just doing all this bullshit together. Yeah, that would be annoying. Image mask and blend? Okay, alright. No, image mask and blend, I think. Image mask and, okay. Yeah, that sounds like it'll be it. Yeah, just set opacity at the bottom. Okay. If you get the opportunity to do like a blend mode and get something like hard light, I would recommend that. Okay. Maybe soft light, overlay kind of basic. The soft light probably look like ass. The opacity thing's not working. Okay. This is phase. Alright, well, you know what we're gonna do? I'll figure it out. It's fine, we'll just put this down here. Loud equals, and it's just loud equals Skibbity Biden. There you go. You'll see most of it probably. I mean, maybe I'll cut off someone's face or something. I don't know. I wish we could have like a DVD one. Color correction. I'll try that. If I can't figure out what... That's the one that works.
That works.
color correction. All right.
Wait,
That's
fuck! I
it.
just realized I could put the fucking opacity down.
No, we're
All right,
good.
if that-
We're good.
Well,
We're
it's-
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
that doesn't work, then I'll do it.
If we get skibbity
there we
fucking
go.
copyright fucked, then I think that
Beautiful.
this should help, but hopefully we don't have an issue. So he's shuffling
Everyone
out.
go watch Loud Equals Funny.
He's shuffling out. He looks like a fucking zombie.
I don't know. Zombies look a little bit more animated.
Okay,
than that.
he said, "Folks, how are you?" And it's
Folks,
this is a very.
He's the most
This
muffled
one's actually.
thing.
This one's actually like an empty one of just the like moderators.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
well, okay, I guess and the film crew of people behind the camera. So okay, actually, you know what? I've circled around.
There's no crowd.
We're done with Doctor Who, but there is a scene from one of the finales where it's Susan Triad like waving and laughing to the fake crowd that isn't there while she gives a speech to like a fucking camera, and they just
True.
pipe in the like applause. I guess there's no applause here. There is no. It's
well,
weird.
there's no audience, so they.
Why is there no
I mean-
audience? We're in a post-COVID world. What are we doing here?
I don't know.
Both
have an
of
audience.
them
They had a lot of stipulations for this thing.
I guess
Yeah, both
Trump
of them
is a
agreed to
criminal
this.
now, so like maybe he's not allowed. I don't know.
Yeah, true. Either that or like someone might, pull some
Well.
bullshit. You can keep playing.
He is so shuffling.
Oh yeah.
Speak up,
Please
buddy.
welcome the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump.
He just looks sad.
He does look upset that he's here.
I don't want to be here. I just want to go play golf.
They aren't even
Much
like,
like most of my presidency.
They aren't even like shaking hands or anything. That's
Gentlemen, thanks so much for being here. Let's begin the debate, and let's start with the issue that voters consistently say is their top concern, the economy. President Biden, inflation has slowed, but
boy.
prices remain high. Since you took office, the price of
only all
essentials
about sonic inflation there, buddy.
has increased. For example, a basket of groceries that cost $100 then now costs more than $120. And typical home prices have jumped more than 30%. What do you say to voters who feel they are worse off under your presidency than they were
Oh
under...
my god, he looks terrified.
He looks so lost and confused.
Jesus
Someone
Christ.
help him. Somebody help this man.
Listen, I'm no Joe Biden fan, but poor man, Jesus Christ. I'm lowering
So
the
sad.
opacity a little bit more.
Keep it paused for just a second. Oh, god damn it! I accidentally opened up my settings. Keep it paused for just a moment longer.
What a
Capture region.
Where's my applesauce? Yeah, where am I?
You're good. You're good whenever you want.
Okay.
Those in the server repeat the announcements.
So he just gotta, what are you gonna do to fix the economy, basically? I mean, so Biden's got a simple presidential debate. Good first question. What economy? Always fucked. What are you gonna do?
Voters who feel they are worse off under your presidency than they were under President Trump.
We got to take a look at what I was left when
Biden's lost.
Oh,
Biden lost already.
Oh god.
In this moment, he lost.
Just like he starts.
Joe, one thing you want to say is you can get the. Come on, man.
This is embarrassing.
what Mr. Trump left me. We had an economy that was in free fall. The pandemic was so badly handled. Many people were dying. All he said was,
Well, I expect Trump to laugh at him, but like,
just inject a bleach into your arm. You'll be all right. The economy collapsed. There were no jobs.
he has been coached so thoroughly on what to say. It's just a script. He's like an automaton. This is
I'm surprised he can remember all of it.
Good for him.
I mean,
he's probably
yeah,
got.
he's trying.
To be fair, it looks like he's got a teleprompter. It looks like he's struggling to read something, so he might not be remembering all of it.
Unemployment rate rose to 15%. It was terrible. And so what we had to do is try to put things back together again. And that's exactly what we began to do.
Yeah, he sounds very hoarse now. I know he's old, but like Joe Biden at least used to have like a nice voice. He sounded like a nice grandpa. Now he sounds like Kay sounds when she's like fucking happy. She sounds so frail. It's unfortunate.
Joe, buddy, just get yourself a fucking lozenge, dude. Get yourself one of those, like, tropical breezes or whatever, the ones that are like really good.
Yeah.
Just put that in your mouth for a little while.
Yeah, that'll help. Get a Halls, fisherman's friend. That'll be your friend too.
8,000 new jobs. We brought out the position where we have 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. But there's more to. We brought out the position where we have 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. But there's more to be done. There's more to be done. Working class people are still in trouble. I come from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I come of a household where the kitchen table, if the things weren't able to be met during the month.
Oh my god, he. This is like watching Barbara. Like, this is Barb.
I remember. I actually remember from last night, which is a shocker because I haven't slept since then. But he kept talking about kitchen tables for like a full minute.
Oh, really? That's great. I'm glad he's excited about the new Zelda. I am too.
I've seen the golf clip. That's it.
Oh God.
He is struggling. This reminds me of Barb though. Like when in that one video where Chris is like coaching her, basically on like the lines to say so that they can get donations, and it's just like, please send us money so we can buy food. And then you can hear Chris like muttering like instructions to her from off the camera. This is basically that, but slightly more put together. This is a travesty to watch.
It was a problem.
Instead of Chris,
the price of eggs, the price of gas, the price of housing, the price of a whole range of things. That's why I'm working so hard to make sure I deal with those problems. And we're going to make sure that we reduce the price of housing.
Imagine Kamala if he survives the whole presidency. He wins again. She doesn't get president the whole time. Unfortunate for her. She probably assumed that was a slam dunk sure thing. He's gonna keel over the first fucking year he's in office. No, he managed to make it through COVID, this bugger. Good for him. She's probably
They're pumping
pissed.
this man with so much orange Gatorade.
Yeah, he's gonna have his magical elixir.
We're going to make sure we build 2 million new units. We're going to make sure we cap rents so corporate greed can't take over. The combination, what I was left with in corporate greed, is the reason why we're in this problem right now. In addition to that, we're in a situation where if you take a look at all that was done in his administration, he didn't do much at all. By the time he left, things were in chaos. Literally chaos. And so we put things back together. We created, I said, those jobs. We make sure we had a situation where
I like that Trump knows he's won already. He doesn't even need to do anything.
Well, we'll get to that.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess he could totally fumble it, but he's very confident right now that he's like, man.
I've pre-watched this.
That's true. You, I think, and Gabe watched it last night. I don't know.
I have the foreknowledge.
Yeah.
We brought down the price of prescription drugs, which is a major issue for many people, to $15 for a insulin shot as opposed to $400. No senior has to pay more than $200 for any drug, all the drugs they can include beginning next year. And the situation is and we're going to make that available to everybody, to all Americans. So we're working to bring down the price around the kitchen table, and that's what
he said it again.
Thank you, President Trump.
We had the
He said it
greatest
twice,
economy in the
still.
history of our country.
We had the greatest. Our economy is so great.
We have
It's
never
huge.
done so well. Everybody was.
Where was the economy the greatest? Was it when he was in office? Because I don't think that was true.
Is by other countries were copying
Good
us. We
Lord.
got hit with COVID, and when we did, we spent the money
Chinese gave it to
necessary
us.
so we wouldn't end up in a Great Depression, the likes of which we had in 1929. By the time we finished, so we did a great job. We got a lot of credit for the economy, a lot of credit for the military, and no
Did you?
wars, and so many other things.
I mean, like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He could say anything. He's at least an animate individual who sounds like he's awake. Joe is unbelievably sleepy. This is This is a joke. I mean, this is like
everything was rocking good.
Somehow
But the thing
Joe
we
is
never got
sleepier
the
than I
credit
am.
for, and we should.
fucking
Wild.
Trump is going to be the prison president. This is unbelievable. This is
We're cooked.
this is
We're
great.
cooked. Either way, we're cooked.
Out of that COVID mess. He created mandates that was a disaster for our country. But other than that, we had given them back a country where the
made
stock
those
market
mandates.
actually was higher than pre-COVID, and nobody thought that was even possible. The only jobs he created are for illegal
Biden,
immigrants
stop drawing little doodles and get back to the job.
Listen,
and bounce
he's
back jobs.
depicting Trump as a soy jack.
It's the only hope he has.
It's a bounce
You're
back from the
smoking.
COVID. He has not done a good job. He's done a poor job, and inflation's killing our country. It is absolutely killing us.
Thank you, President Biden.
Well, look, the greatest economy in the world. He's the only one who thinks that, I think. I don't know anybody else who thinks he had the greatest economy in the world. And, you know, the fact of the matter is that
Oh my God.
we found ourselves in a situation where his economy, he rewarded the wealthy. He had the largest tax cut in American history, $2 trillion. He raised a deficit larger than any
Someone
president.
asks if Joe is shitting himself. I assume you mean Joe. You might have meant Trump. I mean,
No,
I think they could both be shitting themselves.
Both
They're
these
not-
men are in diapers.
Okay, so Trump, he's got a little bit of leakage going on, but he's mostly fine. Biden has a tube.
I gotta be honest. There's probably a lot of like Americans right now who are legitimately. There's a lot of like probably leftist Americans who are just like, man, I hope someone takes him out before the election because this can't
I hope
happen.
someone takes both of them out.
Pull up the Eddie Brock image again.
Takes them out for dinner, that is.
Yeah,
guys.
just listen. Jesus, please. Jesus. I'm begging you. just the two of them. That's all I'm saying. I need this to happen, Jesus, please.
Has in any one term. He's the only president other than Herbert Hoover who's
Because the
lost
worst
more
thing
jobs.
too is that even if like something happens and Biden falls in a well or something and he dies, then you're stuck with Kamala. It's not much better. It's not it's not a better out. It's a slightly better outcome.
Well, that's the
maybe.
thing, though. We're stuck with Kamala at the very least, until the election.
Well, I guess. I suppose.
Which isn't that
he
long.
began, since Herbert Hoover. The idea that he did something that was significant, and the military.
Herbert Hoover. That was when you were
When he was president, there were still
26,
killing people
right?
in Afghanistan. He didn't do anything about that. When he was president, we were still finding ourselves in a position where you had a notion that we were this safe country. The truth is, I'm the only president this century that doesn't have this decade, that doesn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world like he did.
President
Bro, we're talking about the fucking economy. What do you mean?
Trump, I want to
it gets
follow up
worse.
if I can. You
Am I
want
allowed to respond to him?
Well, I'm going to ask you a follow-up. You can do whatever you want with the minute that we give you. I want to follow up. You want to impose a 10% tariff on all goods coming into the U.S. How will you ensure that that doesn't drive prices even higher?
It's not going to drive them higher. It's just going to cost countries that have been ripping us off for years, like China and many others, in all fairness to China. It's going to just force them.
I like, he's hitting all the fuck. This is like you go to a concert and you expect to see the hits, right?
Yeah, he pops a huge.
Yeah, you get a huge, you get a Gina. It's great. I mean, this is wonderful.
To pay us a lot of money, reduce our deficit tremendously, and give us a lot of power for other things. But he made a statement. The only thing he was right about is I gave you the largest tax cut in history. I also gave you the largest regulation cut in history. That's why we had all the jobs. And the jobs went down, and then they bounced back, and he's taking credit for bounce back jobs. You can't do that. He also said he inherited 9% inflation. No, he inherited almost no inflation, and it stayed that way for 14 months. And then it blew up.
Can I get a source on that, buddy?
They spent money like a bunch of.
I'm sure Trump stopped the fucking budget crisis, and it all just came right back, and people will just believe that without any question. They'll just be like, "Yeah, the budget was perfect, and it was great, and then Trump left office, and now it's bad again."
The best part about this debate is that it's literally just Trump very confidently saying like 90% lies. Like full-on lies that are pretty easy to disprove, and then Biden's sitting here like, it doesn't make no sense, man.
Yeah, it's a bit of an issue.
He's saying some correct things every so often between the garbled nonsense.
But it also doesn't matter. It's all about presentation. It's like anyone can recite the fucking lines that their fucking there's 17 speechwriters wrote for them. He's just asleep at the fucking wheel. And I mean, Trump is like the same age, but at least he looks awake. He looks like he's alive still. I mean, Joe looks like a fucking corpse. He looks like he's already dead. Unbelievable. And both of them look like they have fake skin. But I mean,
well, give Trump 2 more years, 3 months, and 6 days.
Oh dear. That's not a threat. I don't endorse this at all. I don't know what's going on.
Didn't know what they were doing, and they don't know what they were doing.
I'm a big fan of the time travel show.
Administration in history. There's never been. And as far as Afghanistan is concerned, I was getting out of Afghanistan, but we were getting out with dignity, with strength.
Can I get a source on that, buddy?
He got out. It was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country's life.
President Trump, over the last 8 years, under both of your administrations, the national debt soared to record highs. And according to
Biden
a new
just casually having a PTSD flashback.
Biden right now, I don't know, can chat see Biden's face? Yeah, you can kind of see it behind the bear. He looks
flabbergasted.
He looks like he can't believe something that just happened.
All right, wait. Keep it paused for like a couple more seconds.
He looks terrified.
All right, you're good.
Gormless president.
just pop that right there.
He is.
Wait, what did you
sheer
post?
gormlessness.
Where did you post it?
And then announcements.
Oh, hang on. We got a couple announcements, I think, because you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, it's just Biden looking lost and confused. Grandpa got out of the nursing home. He found the car keys,
Grandpa found the car keys, but he did not find his meds, unfortunately.
Trump, your administration approved $8.4 trillion in new debt, while so far, President Biden, you've approved $4.3 trillion in new debt. So, former President Trump, many of the tax cuts that you signed into law are set to expire next year. You want to extend them and go even further, you say. With the U.S. facing trillion-dollar deficits and record debt, why should top earners and corporations pay even less in taxes than they do now?
Because the tax cuts spurred the greatest economy that we've ever seen just prior to COVID, and even after COVID.
Because I'm lying to you about the economy being good, so now I'm going to lie to you about why that's a good thing, about the lie that I just told. It's a foundation.
Source on that?
It's a foundation in lies, so it works out in the end.
So strong that we're able to get through COVID much better than just about any other country. But we spurred that tax spurred. Now, when we cut the taxes, as an example, the corporate tax was cut down to 21% from 39%, plus beyond that. We
Pull
took
up that
in
Eddie
more
Brock
revenue
image again.
with much less tax.
Nah, you don't gotta do that. You don't gotta do that.
And companies were bringing back trillions of dollars back into our country. The country was going like never before, and we were ready to start paying down
I mean,
debt.
it's fair to say that there's ways that you can pay off your fucking national debt other than just taxing people, but, you know, it also is like, well, what's the problem with what, like, apparently Amazon pays nothing or something, so, like, what's that about? I don't know.
We're ready to start using the liquid.
Man.
Yeah, but it's all Trump's fault. He's the reason the economy was the best it ever was, ever.
I wonder when people are gonna stop coping about trickle-down economics.
That's been going for a long time now, yeah.
Gold right under our
Weaselly
feet,
little liar,
the
dude.
oil and gas right under our feet. We were going to have something that nobody else has had. We got hit with COVID. We did a lot to fix it. I gave him an unbelievable situation with all of the therapeutics and all of the things that we came up with. We gave him something great. Remember, more people died under his administration, even though we had largely fixed it. More people died under his administration than our administration, and we were right in the middle of it, something which a lot of people don't like to talk about. But he had far more people dying in his administration.
Didn't he stop being president like 6 months into
Yeah.
COVID? I mean, okay, right at the
COVID
beginning there might have been more of it, but I mean...
COVID was less than a year old when Trump left office.
Yeah,
Less than a
mostly
year.
It was mostly his situation, you know?
And
Yeah.
also, he largely fixed it. Yeah, sure. That's that explains how he got sick with it. You know, like right before, you know, he got voted out. That explains everything. Of
So
course.
there's some good Biden pause frames here. This one's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm
But-
trying to I'm absolutely capturing that one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to resist the urge to flood announcements because there are so many. Good
Oh,
ones.
go for it. It's my server. I give you full permission. It's my server and yours, basically. So fucking go for it.
Still, I you know,
Put them in other
or
announcements.
save it for the good. Yeah, actually, from now on, there are another announcements.
This is a good Skibbity Biden glare. I'm always gonna think of Skibbity Biden now. Colbert has cemented that for me.
Why would you have? Why would you do this to yourself?
Well, it's like the new Pokemon Go to the polls. What's going on?
Black Brains in chat. We're gonna be talking about the fucking doc shit this weekend.
Yay!
We're in for a fun one.
I think Black Brains, you're going to be our next guest on the podcast. So you're following up Cadecarus. So you've got a big shoes to fill, young man. Let me tell you.
Listen, you might be following up Cat Icarus, but Cat Icarus didn't have a whole ass Dr. Disrespect thing to talk about.
Yeah.
That is true.
Pediatrician disrespect.
Died under his administration, even though we had largely fixed it. More people died under his administration than our administration, and we were right in the middle of it, something which a lot of people don't like to talk about. But he had far more people dying in his administration. He did the mandate, which is a disaster, mandating it. The vaccine went out. He did a mandate on the vaccine, which is the thing that people most objected to about the vaccine. And he did a very poor job, just a very poor job. And I will tell you, not only poor there, but throughout the entire world, we're no longer respected as a country. They don't respect our leadership.
Gee, I fucking can't imagine why. Look at what America has to offer. It's unthinkable.
Yeah, buddy, that ain't a Biden thing. That's
No, I think it is. I think it's. Look at this.
It is. It's not.
Biden
it's not
is a
just
zombie and Trump is a retard. I mean, this is like pick your fucking fighter. You know, this is like Street Fighter 1 where you have.
Can I turn the game off, please? Can I download the DLC that gives me actual good fighters,
You
please?
have Ryu and Ken, and that's it. And you aren't allowed to pick a third party, or you're a cringe loser.
Ryu has one leg, and Ken forgot how to fight.
Ken is blind.
They don't respect the United States anymore. We're like a third world nation between weaponization of his election, trying to go after his political opponent, all of the things he's done. We've become like a third world nation, and it's a shame.
Yeah.
The damage he's done to our country, and I'd love to ask him, and will, why he allowed millions of people to come in here from prisons, jails, and mental
I
institutions.
like that he allowed himself that opportunity. He was like, I really like to ask him. You know, I will actually, Mr. Biden. I got a good question for you. Why'd you let so many MS-13s
and
in?
destroy our country?
President Trump, we will get to immigration later in this block. President Biden, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to this question about the national debt.
I mean, he literally looks like he got in a car accident and he's confused.
I think Trump's words are actually like becoming corporeal and like bludgeoning him to death.
Have you ever seen the footage of the guy who's like he just survived 9/11 and he's walking out of the debris and there's like a news person and the guy's just like, I've had a really bad day, I don't want to talk about it, and he just keeps walking. That's how Biden looks right now. He looks like a 9/11 survivor. Very unfortunate.
Hell yeah, represent.
He had the largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period, number one. Number two, he got $2 trillion tax cut, benefited the very
someone
wealthy.
points out that like journalists are being fucking killed in the streets in the Philippines, and America is a third world country apparently. All right,
we're not the ones getting bombed by Israel. Oh, did I say that?
Do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. I mean, billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation where
what a
they,
slip
in
up.
fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24% or 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise
like I said, he's speaking some sense.
Yeah.
It's just you have to make sense
vote
of the
for
sense.
him? Well, I remember seeing videos that CNN have done in the past where they analyze debates, and they analyze famous presidential debates, like not just recent ones, but like, oh yeah, Walter Mondale lost because he was a fucking loser and he was like unsure of himself. Nixon lost to Kennedy because he was like fucking sweating and he was just like a weird shifty retard. That's the actual words they used. And now I'm looking at this.
Because he went,
yeah! And then, yeah, this is just like, no one is going to vote for Joe Biden. He looks like he has been dead for 2 weeks and he's being puppeteered like Weekend at Bernie's. He looks like he's speaking by means... He looks like he's speaking by means of that Futurama plot twist where it turns out, like, I think it was Human Bender or whatever, and he's been dead for 2 weeks, and it's just fat escaping from his folds, and that's how he's making noises.
woo!
Woo!
$1 billion, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to support
especially the fucking elder care.
strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary.
This must have been Mike Stoklaus's favorite thing he's ever seen. Just two elderly people fighting each other and bumbling over each other. He must have been very happy with this.
Eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with.
Well, no, the funny thing is the elderlies won't even vote for Biden because the elderlies are all going to vote for like their conservative king. Probably. If they have to pick one, I don't think they're going to go with Biden. You know, some people might not be pro-Trump, but they'll be like, Biden, he's stupid, he sucks. Democrat, stinky. And, you know, they're not going to vote for him.
Can I vote for this can of like zero sugar ginger ale that I had in my hand?
I really miss Vermin Supreme. People gave him shit. He would have been a good choice, you know.
He pulled off that boot.
As good as any of these fucking people.
Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
Oh God!
Just
cut him off. We beat Medicare. Can we just
look?
If
we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden.
Medicare.
Just die.
President Trump.
Speaking of which, there's a Jim stream tomorrow making fun of Boogie and his like crypto pump and dump scheme apparently.
Oh hell yeah!
So that's
exciting.
exciting.
Hell yeah!
I haven't been looking into that, but I'll be excited to see that.
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare. because all of these people are coming in. They're putting them on Medicare. They're putting them on Social Security.
They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're terrorists.
Social Security. This man is going to single.
Hold the fuck
What's
up?
up?
Who the fuck is speaking about the border right now, Trump? Why don't you stick to the topic, buddy?
Yeah, he can't. I mean, because the guy said there's gonna be we're gonna talk about immigration later, and that's his point, so he has to drive that one home, I guess.
Handedly destroy Social Security. These millions and millions of people coming in, they're trying to put them on Social Security. He will wipe out Social Security. He will wipe out Medicare. So he was right in the way he finished that sentence, and it's a shame. What's happened to our country in the last 4 years is not to be believed.
Like he's
foreign countries, I'm friends with a lot of people. They cannot believe what happened to the United States.
I'm friends with a lot of people, Trump says.
Of America.
Oh,
They
yes,
no longer
I
respect
believe
it. They don't like us. We give them everything they want, and they think we're stupid. They think we're very stupid people.
I did everything I could, but for some reason people still think America is just a bumblefuck country led by retards, and I don't know why. I don't know what made them think that.
They said that the leader of America was retarded, and I told them, I said, I don't know any retarded people. I don't associate with them. It's not a racist thing. It's just I don't like them.
What we're doing for other countries, and they do nothing for us. What this man has done is absolutely criminal.
Thank you, President
What
Trump.
you have done is factually criminal.
Donald John Trump.
This is good. This is better than I expected it would be.
This is the first presidential election since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. This morning, the court ruled on yet another abortion case, temporarily allowing emergency abortion.
Oh, dude, my favorite Doctor Who episode is relevant again.
Yeah,
to
kill the
continue in
moon. Hell
Idaho,
yeah.
Despite that state's restrictive ban.
Oh yeah, I didn't get to talk about how Empress of Mars is basically just a big
here we go. It's
episode
Doctor Who
about-
talk again. Hell yeah.
It's just
I'll
a
be right
big
back.
episode about how colonialism bad, and it was from like 10 years ago, and so, you know, I don't
And
know,
it's great and fun.
Doctor Who is broken now and woke, and they hate you, and they do it to humiliate you. Anyways.
It's woken.
Former President Trump, you take credit for the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade.
What do you mean I get to laugh at least? I'm stuck with fucking Trudeau. What do you mean? We don't even get a choice. We're stuck. We're strapped to that man like Sutek to the TARDIS.
Which returned the issue of abortion to the states.
Correct.
However, the federal government still plays a role in whether or not women have access to abortion pills. They're used in about 2/3 of all abortions. As president, would you block abortion medication?
First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion bill, and I agree with their decision to have done that, and I will not block it. And if you look at this whole question that you're asking, complex but not really complex. 51 years ago, you had Roe v. Wade, and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans, liberals.
Hey, buddy, can I get a source for that?
Everybody wanted it back.
Everybody. We all wanted it. We all did.
Religious leaders. And what I did is I put 3 great Supreme Court justices on the court, and they happened to vote in favor of.
Yeah, see, that is the worst
I
thing
need
Trump ever did was put.
I need a
3
source on that adjective he just said.
He
started with a G.
3 great. Yeah, he put 3 people
I need
on
a
the
source on
Supreme
that.
Court. That's like really stacked the fucking court, and that's man, that's a problem. I mean, I still maintain Trump probably did less damage than Hillary would have, because again, no one would have paid any attention to all the shit Hillary would have done. It would have flown completely under the radar as just general presidential stuff, and she would have been horrible. But Trump, everybody was on him, like him on the McDonald's burgers that he ate so diligently. And then they made fun of him for eating McDonald's burgers and getting like 2 scoops of ice cream. They made fun of him for everything they could possibly make fun of him for. So he was allowed to get away with everything and nothing. At least we were all very aware that the president was insane and fucking criminal. You know, we wouldn't have been with Hillary. And we probably weren't as much with Joe, you know. I mean, say what you will. But that being said, being able to stack the Supreme Court with a bunch of insane retards is probably not helping.
We have been cooked for so fucking long. It's like the frogs in the pot, and you slowly raise the heat, and we're only just now realizing, oh, this is so hot, I'm gonna die.
Oh yeah, we've been dead for at least 10 years or something, I think. Yeah.
Killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted. Now, 10 years
Can
ago,
I get a source on that, buddy?
About how many weeks and how many this, getting into other things. But every legal scholar throughout the world.
4 years ago, I was gonna make a video, and I didn't make it because I ran out of time, and I was like, I was doing other things. I was gonna make a video that was just called "Don't Vote." Just don't. If you really feel strongly about one of these two gentlemen, then absolutely. But all that propaganda about you have to vote, you have to make your voice heard. No, you don't need to support this. Just stay home. Watch The Simpsons. I think you're better off. Someone said there's a Halloween special about, the debate. You know what? Watch that. That's spooky. I don't know if it'll be spookier than this real one, but,
World.
Yeah, I don't think anything
respected.
could be spookier
Wanted
than
it brought back to the States. I did that.
This is cosmic horror.
Now the States.
And Joe sees that. That's why he looks like this right now.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised
Ohio,
if Mr. Manacor put out something related to this within the next couple months.
It was an end result that was a little bit more liberal than you would have thought. Kansas, I would say the same thing. Texas is different. Florida is different. But they're all making their own decisions right now. And right now, the states control it. That's the vote of the people. Like Ronald Reagan, I believe in the exceptions. I am a person that believes. And frankly,
like Ronald Reagan, I want to put crack in the black communities. Let me tell you.
But I believe in the exceptions.
Just sprinkle a little crack right on their pillows.
Listen, I'm from Canada. Oh yeah, it's like mints. I'm from Canada. We have
Oh my God, Biden looks like he's fucking deceased.
Jesus Christ.
Get his little face.
Poor guy. I mean, fuck him, but poor guy. I'm from Canada. We had Rob Ford, and he is the crack mayor. He's the Canadian mayor.
Oh, that guy
who did crack and got in trouble for it, and then he died. I wouldn't be surprised if Trump was a crack elderly. I think, to be fair, I guess if he's so old.
Both of them are on something.
If he did crack now, he'd probably fucking die. But, he's probably done crack. I can believe Trump's at least tried crack.
Pull up the Eddie Brock image again.
Listen, Jesus, I'm just asking you. I need it.
Rape, incest, and the life of the mother. I think it's very important. Some people don't. Follow your heart, but you have to get elected also, and because that has to do with other things. You got to get elected. The problem they have is they're radical because they will take the life of a child in the 8th month, the 9th month, and even after birth. After birth, if you look at the...
Can I get a source on that, Donald?
Okay, to be fair, Donald, I've seen many people in my years streaming that have proven that post-term abortions should be legal. I mean, you're no exception to that. So,
the former governor of Virginia...
he's like 80. I think you could still abort him. I mean, it still counts, right?
What trimester is 80?
We could argue that he doesn't have intelligent life yet. It's fine.
He was willing to do this. He said, we'll put the baby aside and we'll determine what we do with the baby, meaning we'll kill the baby. What happened is we brought it back to the states, and the country is now coming together on this issue. It's been a great thing.
Oh, God.
Thank you. President Biden?
It's been a terrible thing, what you've done. The fact is that the vast majority of constitutional scholars support.
Get a fucking lozenge, Joe.
Poor guy did not get a lozenge. Wow, he's gonna lose this fucking debate because he couldn't get a lozenge.
Go to your wife, open up her purse, grab yourself a Halls, put it in your mouth, buddy.
Go to your wife, open up your mouth, ask her to spit, and you're good.
Yeah, even that. Just drink some Gatorade, brother.
That's this idea that they
bring out your dad.
And this is the guy who says the state should be able to have it. We're at state where in 6 weeks you don't even know whether you're pregnant or not, but you cannot see a doctor, and have him decide on what your circumstances are, whether you need help. The idea that states are able to do this is a little like saying we're going to turn civil rights back to the states, that each state have a different rule. Look, there's so many...
This is like in Paper Mario where the elder Koopa starts rambling like an old man, and then Mario and companion just fall asleep on the spot, and he keeps rambling. They do that joke like a bunch in Thousand Year Door, but it gets a little it wears out. But this is like Joe doing that, and I'm starting to feel. I feel like Bane is gonna fall asleep at any moment.
I'm starting to kind of feel it. Yeah.
I mean, I've been up for almost 24 hours. I'm
I
close.
think it's over 24 now, isn't it? Shit.
I woke up at around 4. My sleep schedule's been awful.
Including a young woman.
I'm hopefully going to reset it.
Well, after this, I assume.
Yeah.
Was murdered, and he went to the funeral. The idea that she was murdered by an immigrant coming in to talk about that. But here's the deal.
You know, if we put this on normal, we'll do 1.25. It'll be fine.
There's a lot of.
There you go. Now he talks more like a person.
Going to be raped by their.
What is he talking about? Rape? What's happening?
Yeah, he's talking about how a migrant sexually assaulted and murdered a woman.
Oh,
which is a little strange coming from him.
Yeah,
it's pretty weird.
Weird that he's making Trump's arguments for him.
Yeah, unprompted, by the way.
So
like,
what?
It's like Trump didn't say, and also all of the immigrants. You know, he didn't say that.
Yeah.
Biden just said, "Oh, no, the migrants
just random unforced error."
Circumstances are, whether you need help. The idea
he's talking about the abortion thing, right? So, like, if you get raped and you get pregnant, like, yeah, there's some people want to, repeal your rights even for that. Which, I mean, yeah, you should still be able to whatever, but it's very weird that he meant it's like when your grandpa randomly mentions that the guy at the convenience store was Chinese. Like, it's not really relevant to the conversation that she was like, that it was a migrant.
States are able to do this. It's a little like saying we're going to turn civil rights back to the states. Let each state have a different rule. Look, there's so many young women who have been, including a young woman who just was murdered, and he went to the funeral. The idea that she was murdered by an immigrant coming in, they talk about that. But here's the deal: there's a lot of young women who are being raped by their in-laws, by
what?
Okay, like listen.
He's saying the enemy comes from within and without.
He's making a decent point, but you're playing right into Trump's hand by just bringing that up unprompted.
Yeah. It's very defensive. It's unfortunate.
Their spouses, brothers and sisters, it's just ridiculous, and they can do nothing about it. And they try to
this sexual assault business, I don't care for it. It's just ridiculous. It's out of hand.
There have been many young women murdered by the same people he allows to come across our border.
Yeah, you just gave him
a jumping off point.
What is wrong with you, Joe? Come on.
It's the most dangerous place.
I'm starting to feel like Otacon. Joe, answer me. What is wrong? Respond.
Anywhere in the world, considered the most dangerous place anywhere in the world. And he opened it up, and these killers are coming into our country, and they are raping and killing women. And it's a terrible thing.
But are they killing the men and the children too, or like just the women?
As far as the abortion is concerned, it is now back with the states. The states are voting. In many cases, it's frankly a very liberal decision. In many cases, it's the opposite.
I still cannot believe Joe
but they're voting,
gave him
and it's bringing it back to the vote of the people, which is what everybody wanted, including the founders, if they knew about this issue, which frankly they didn't. But they would have. Everybody wanted brought back. Ronald Reagan wanted it brought back. He wasn't able to get it. Everybody wanted
Abe Lincoln wanted it brought back. I talked to him. He's a nice guy. He voted for me, actually.
Brought back, and many presidents had tried to get it back. I was the one to do it. And again, this gives it the vote of the people, and that's where they wanted it. Every legal scholar wanted it that way.
All the legal scholars.
Again, can I get a source on that, Don?
This is like when Mahler says everyone who knows what they're talking about didn't like the new Doctor Who. All the legal scholars didn't care.
We're making the connections. Mahler, just like Donald
President
Trump.
Biden,
Exactly.
7 states. I'll let you do that. This is the same topic. 7 states have no legal restrictions on how far into a pregnancy a woman can obtain an abortion.
Now he just looks disgusted. Joe just looks disgusted right now. Very unhappy.
Any legal limits on how late a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy?
I support Roe v. Wade. which had 3 trimesters. The first time is between the woman and the doctor. Second time is between the doctor and an extreme situation. The third time is between the doctor, between the woman
Bro
and the
is
state.
yapping.
The idea that the politicians, that the founders wanted the politicians to be the ones making decisions about women's health is ridiculous. That's the last. No politician should be making that decision. A doctor should be making those decisions. That's how it should be run. That's what you're going to do. And if I'm elected, I'm going to restore Roe v. Wade.
So that means he can take the life of the baby in the 9th month and even after birth, because some.
Okay, but again, that's like euthanasia. That's not abortion.
Source on that, Don.
Well, to be fair, what do they normally do in a debate? Do they source things in a debate? Are they gonna shout out the website?
Yeah, they don't source it, but like he's saying very obviously wrong things.
Yeah, that sounds untrue. I mean, I'm not sure what you would like post-term abortions in America. Is that? I mean, I guess it's possible something happened where it's like, oh, this thing is just a fucking, like, it's just like a fucking, you know, a turd with legs. We gotta abort this thing. We gotta get rid of it. Maybe, but probably not, though. I don't know. It sounds like Weekly World News.
States, Democrat run, take it after birth. Again, the former governor of
looks
Virginia.
Horrified.
Put the baby down, then we decide what to do with it. So he
looks like he just killed a man, and he's like, his soul is grappling with the weight of what he's just done.
He's contemplating the loss.
He's looking at his bloodied hands and the knife that's below him, while the man he killed is bleeding slowly on the ground.
He's about to go to jail 10 years for
that's life for him.
No, it sure is.
The baby. Nobody wants that to
him in jail for 1 year or life.
Happen, Democrat or Republican. Nobody wants it to happen.
That is simply not true. The Roe v. Wade does not provide for that. That's not the circumstance. Only if a woman's life is in danger, she's going to die. That's the only circumstance in which that can happen. But we are not for late-term abortion, period. Period.
Under Roe v. Wade, you have late-term abortion. You can do whatever you want, depending on the state. You can do whatever you want. We don't think that's a good thing. We think it's a radical thing. We think the Democrats are the radicals, not the Republicans.
For 51.
I mean, this is so embarrassing, too, because Trump is just, like, basically... I assume he's basically just lying for the most part, right? And
yeah.
And Joe is too fucking sleepy and tired to say anything about it.
Yeah, like every so often Joe will just say something that's like correct, but then like always, like fucking clockwork in this debate, you have to decipher it with the fucking Rosetta Stone.
Well, also, I mean, that's the
he's
stuff
speaking in hieroglyphs. I don't know how that's possible.
That's what he's been programmed to say by his handlers when he has to actually off the cuff respond to something Trump says. He's not quite so fucking ready for it. I don't think I doubt if you got the the inner workings of the Biden White House, I doubt he's really making all that many decisions. This guy's a figurehead through and through. He's like the queen. He's got a whole cabinet of fucking people.
Years, that was the law. 51
we
years.
got a fucking smart guy in chat. If it's untrue, CNN would interrupt. Ever thought of that? Buddy, have you? Do you not know CNN?
Tristan, his name is Bateman.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Listen, I've been up for about 24 hours, okay? I can fall for a little bit of bait. It's allowed.
That's fair. I mean, but it's true. The thing is, they don't often call out a lot of the falsehoods. I mean, CNN, you'd think they would because it is CNN. I mean, they don't seem to like Trump very much, but they're being very hands-off in general here.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Like they're just moderators. They're just there to like mute the mics if someone talks out of hand.
Yeah, which is I guess for the best, but it should probably be called out.
It would be really cool if they had a fact checker on hand and he was just like super fucking fast and he was just like actually, but we don't live in that world, sadly.
We need a fat checker. That's what we need. A guy who's fat and he comes in and just hip checks them and knocks them over until they die.
And it was taken away because this guy put very conservative members on the Supreme Court. He takes credit for taking it away. What's he going to do? In fact, if the MAGA Republicans, he gets elected, and the MAGA Republicans control the Congress, and they pass a universal ban on abortion, period, across the board at 6 weeks or 7 or 8 or 10 weeks, something very, very conservative. Is he going to sign that bill? I'll veto it. He'll sign it.
Thank you.
Let's turn now to the issue of immigration and border security. President Biden, a record number of migrants
he was trying.
Frothing at the mouth for this one, Don.
He was trying to respond.
Legally crossed the southern border on your watch. overwhelming border states and overburdening cities such as New York and Chicago, and in some cases causing real safety and security concerns. Given that, why should voters trust you to solve this crisis?
Because we worked very hard to get a bipartisan agreement that not only changed all of that, it made sure that we are in a situation where you had no circumstance where they could come across the border with the number of border police there are now. We significantly increased the number of asylum officers. Significantly, by the way, the Border Patrol endorsed my position. In addition to that, we found ourselves in a situation where when he was president, he was taking separated.
Wait, don't we hate ICE or whatever? Should we really want them to be endorsing Biden? I guess Border Patrol is different from ICE, but it's like, I don't know if you want to be endorsed by that regime necessarily.
Babies from their mothers, putting them in cages, making sure the families were separated. That's not the right way to go. What I've done since I've changed the law, what's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border illegally. That's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we can do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence.
Yeah, Trump. I'm with you. I was trying to decipher it.
He kinda
I don't have my
trailed
Rosetta
off.
Stone on hand. I
Something
only have
of-
this lithograph right here.
Something about a ban, I don't know, but he tried. He was trying.
I don't think he knows what he said either. Look, we had the safest border in the history of our country.
Damn.
All he had to do was leave it. All he had to do was leave it. He decided to open up our border, open up our country to people that are from prisons, people that are from mental institutions, insane asylum, terrorists. We have the largest number of terrorists coming into our country right now. All terrorists, all over the world,
They're
not just
bringing
in South
drugs and
I wonder.
America.
I wonder
All over
if
the
he
world, they come-
thinks that like Mexico is just purposefully releasing their prisons into the United States. Oh God, look at that Biden face.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's like,
It looks like he's trying to find
Screenshot
someone to
that one.
shift the blame onto, like for the fart that he just laid. Give me one sec.
That was a big one. He's pretty far from me, but I could probably say it's him. That's fine.
Listen, a fart travels 6 feet per second. That's pretty fast.
Wow.
from the Middle East, everywhere, all over the world, they're pouring in. And this guy just left it open. And he didn't need legislation because I didn't have legislation. I said, close the border. We had the safest border in history. In that final couple of months of my presidency, we had, according to Border Patrol, who is great, and by the way, who endorsed me for president, but I won't say that, but they endorsed me for president.
Huh.
Brandon, just speak
You
to him.
said that,
but
Donald.
Look, we had the safest border
Brandon?
in
You just
history.
called him
Now we have the worst border in
Brandon.
history. There's never been any.
Dude,
All right, that is kind of funny.
Brandon,
That is
just
a
speak to
little
him.
bit funny.
But look,
I'm sorry, but Biden looks like the soy jack who got deflated by his wife or whatever.
Yes, ma'am.
He does not look very. We got an emote on the server that's just called Sasha. He's the Sasha emote right now.
we had the safest border in history. Now we have the worst border.
Jesus Christ, he looks depressed.
Okay, I'm taking a screenshot of that.
There's never been anything like it. And people are dying all over the place, including the people that are coming up in
Thank you, President
caravans.
Trump. President Biden.
People are dying all over the place, especially everyone Kevin Spacey ever interacted with. Unbelievable
First
stuff.
who's done anything
Very
across the
sad.
border is one who came along and killed three, under his administration, killed an Al Qaeda person come in and his administration, killed three American soldiers. That's the only terrorist that's there. I'm not saying that no terrorist ever got through, but the idea they're emptying their prisons, we're welcoming these people. That's simply not true. There's no data to support what he said. Once again, he's exaggerating, he's lying.
President Trump, staying on the topic of immigration, you've said that you're going to carry out, quote, the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, unquote. Does that mean that you will deport every undocumented immigrant in America, including those who have jobs, including those whose spouses are citizens, and including those who have lived here for decades? And if so, how will you do it?
Just 1 second. He said we killed 3 people. The people we killed are al-Baghdadi and Soleimani, the 2 greatest terrorists, biggest terrorists anywhere in the world. And it had a huge impact on everything, not just
We got a
border-
huge, everybody. We got a
There's the
huge.
huge.
Yay!
on everything. He's the one that killed people with the bad water, including hundreds of thousands of people dying and also killing our citizens when they come
I hate
in.
how little of a debate this is too. It's too moderated. Like someone said, why aren't they calling Trump on his lies if they're there? My question: why is it so rigidly moderated? Because you should be able to
because
argue
Trump
a
usually
little
speaks
bit.
out of turn.
I guess, but you should be able to argue a little bit back and forth. I mean, it just comes across now like Biden's afraid of talking to Trump, which he should be. I mean, he has no responses really that haven't been programmed.
Honestly, even if he did have like fully worded out responses, he sounds like he's fucking dying.
Yeah, it's not good. This is what happens if you let Bane do a debate right now. He would be
Exactly, pretty much. Yeah.
Same here.
We are living right now in a rat's nest. They're killing our people in New York, in California, in every state in the union because we don't have borders anymore. Every state is now a border. And because of his ridiculous, insane, and very stupid policies, people are coming in and they're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen. We call it migrant crime. I call it Biden migrant crime. They're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen before. And you're reading it like these 3 incredible young girls over the last few days. One of them, I just spoke to the mother, and they just had the funeral for this girl, 12 years old. This is horrible what's taken place. What's taken place in our country, we're literally an uncivilized country now. He doesn't want it to be. He just doesn't know. He opened the borders. Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
Does he know what uncivilized means?
We've been completely uncivilized. We have no media literacy.
Shit! Hey, hang on. My next door neighbors, their house is getting firebombed. Oh, that's a shame.
Unfortunately,
it's a shame we live in an uncivilized country.
Yeah, Biden's really feeling uncivilized right now. He about to act unwise.
We have to get him out fast.
He sees a 12-year-old in the crowd. You know how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
gonna give him the old pediatrician disrespect special,
pull him up on stage and ask him why their body looks like that.
Just take a look at where they're living. They're living in luxury hotels in New York City and other places. Our veterans are on the street. They're dying because he doesn't care about our veterans. He doesn't care. He doesn't like the military at all.
The thing is, too, is
they're living in luxury hotels. It means they're probably purchasing the rooms.
It's probably like
paying nightly.
Yeah, I mean, it probably goes without saying that Trump is a huge liar, but Biden's really not even objecting to a lot of this. He's just like,
Well, the mics are muted. The mics are muted during the.
I guess, but you think that in between their responses, he'd be like, "Well, that was all a big lie, and this is why," or something. But he doesn't. So anything Trump's saying that is like verifiably not true, like, "Oh, we had the best economy ever in 2017 or whatever he was talking about," like whatever point in his presidency he was talking about that. Biden didn't sweep in and go, "Oh, that's not true." I mean, I guess maybe he did, but like no facts. It's like Trump has no sources, but kind of fucking neither does Biden. He can't refute any of these lies with like any counter facts,
He doesn't care about our veterans. Nobody been worse.
Facts.
I had the highest approval rating for veterans taking care of the VA. He has the worst. He's gotten rid of all the things that I approved. Choice that I got through Congress, all of the different things I approved, they abandoned. We had by far the highest, and now it's down in less than half because he's done all these great things that we did, and I think he did it just because I approved it, which is crazy. But he has killed so many people at our border by allowing all of these people to come in. And it's a very sad day in America.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Every single thing he said is a lie.
There you go. They say that's what I'm asking
for. We love a rebutting king.
For example, he's given us a for example. Love
Bad day in America.
President Biden, you have the mic.
Every single thing he said is a lie. Every single one. For example, veterans are a hell of a lot better off since they passed the PACT Act. 1 million of them now have insurance, and their families have it.
Oh, he's mad.
Their families have it because what happened, whether it was Agent Orange or burn pits, they're all being covered now. And his group opposed that. We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq, living right next to one of those burn pits, came back with stage 4 glioblastoma. I was recently in France for D-Day, and I spoke all about those heroes that died. I went to the World War I cemetery he refused to go to. He was standing with his 4-star general, and he told me, he said, "I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers."
I have this turned a little bit faster, but this is unbelievable. He's just talking in it's like AI. I mean, it's like they could have just made this debate with AI. Frankly, I mean, this is just this
probably
AI
would have been
monotone.
better.
Yeah,
honestly,
it would have been more comprehensible.
I don't think it would have been better, but it would have been easier to understand, at least on Biden's end.
Yeah,
and Trump probably wouldn't have told as many lies. Although he probably would have thought Airbud was a real thing, so.
He's
actually no, you're right. It would be better.
And he told me, he said, "I don't want to go in there because they're a bunch of losers and suckers." My son was not a loser. Was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
President Trump.
He got him with the loser and the sucker. He's like the
You're the loser, actually.
What's his name? Ichiro from SMT5. He's got the hat on that just says "sucker" on it. It's great. That's Trump right now. Somebody needs to Photoshop that onto his head.
And losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taken better care. I'm so glad this came up, and he brought it up. There's nobody that's taken better care of our soldiers than I have. To think that I would, in front of generals and others, say suckers and losers. We have 19 people that said it was never said by me. It was made up by him, just like Russia.
I mean, it does sound like a bit of a far-fetched quote that it would be pretty easy to convince people Trump said something that he didn't say, frankly. So, I mean, like, it's easy enough to believe that this one might not be true. Yeah, he's, like, surrounded by generals and shit. I mean, it does seem like a weird thing that he would say. Maybe he thought he was untouchable or whatever, but, like, yeah, I don't know. I guess I could see him saying it, too. That doesn't strike me as too crazy for Trump, but, like, it could kind of go either way. I could see him being... I could see it being true that this has been made up to make him look bad because it's a totally bogus witch hunt and all that, but, I mean... Yeah, I feel like you don't need to do much to make things up for him.
I don't care who's right and who's wrong. I think it's just funny to see these two old men fight and they call each other names. It's great.
Two fish just before they die.
I love elder abuse.
The two fish flapping on the fucking dock of the bay just before they die.
This is all your fault.
Just like the 51 intelligence agents are made up. Just like the new thing with the 16 economists are talking, it's the same thing. 51 intelligence agents said that the laptop was Russia disinformation. It wasn't. That came from the Sun
fucking laptop.
You've got 51 intelligence quota, so you're much better off.
It wasn't Russia disinformation.
I want to really quick get on my soapbox about Biden's son, whose name I forgot.
Hunter.
Yeah, Hunter. Why does it fucking matter that why does it matter that he does crack? He's not the president, you know?
I mean,
I'm sure Don's kids are getting up to some wild shit and we don't care about that shit.
I mean, crack son of president is pretty bad though. Like, you got to give it to him. We got crack mayor. Crack president's son is like not great. It's kind of like when Bush's daughters were off fucking partying and gallivanting around the world, and they were like getting photographed in very compromising positions, and it's like you're the daughters of the president. I don't know.
Milksteak brings up like the crack in the White House. Yeah, that sucks. Leave him, get him the fuck away from the White House. He don't need to be doing any of that shit near, our nation's fucking secrets.
The White House?
Yeah, they did find some I think it was
both terrible.
I think it was paraphernalia.
These are both awful presidents, both of them. Like, let it not go unstated. Like, Jesus Christ. So
it's a bit overblown.
Trump brings everything, and Biden, now he's looking directly at us, by the way. Biden.
Hey, Biden.
He's literally...
Take a fucking lozenge, please.
Biden is literally bringing drugs and bringing crime. They're terrorists.
Get off the Adderall, buddy. It's not working.
Four-star general standing to your side who was on your staff who said you said it, period. That's number one. And number two, the idea that I have to apologize to you for anything along the line. We've done more for veterans than any president has in American history. And they now are in their family. The only sacred obligation we have as a country is to care for our veterans when they come home and their families and equip them when they go to war. That's what we're doing.
I feel like we have a bit more obligations
than that. They're doing more for
veterans
than ever before in our history.
All right, thank you so much.
Let's move to the topic of foreign...
What exactly did he say? I'm sorry.
For our veterans.
Aren't you the father of a veteran?
American history.
Aren't you a veteran?
Yeah, but basically the gist of what he said was a four-star general said that you said that, so shut the fuck up.
Right.
Also, we take like really good care of our veterans.
I guess if a four-star general's saying it, I mean, it could be. It's big politics. It could all be a conspiracy, but that lends credibility to it. Sure.
Biden takes 3 times as long to say shit as a normal person.
Their home and their families, equip them when they go to war. Yeah, there's probably more to it that the veterans deserve than that. I don't know.
That's what we're doing. That's what the VA is doing now. They're doing more for veterans than ever before in our history.
All right, thank you so much.
Let's move to the topic of foreign policy. I want to begin with Russia's war against Ukraine, which is now in its third year.
Oh, we're going to get into the fun Hassan point, everybody. We're going to get some cracker-ass takes here. I hope you're excited.
President Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin says he'll only end
takes.
this war if Russia keeps the Ukrainian territory it has already claimed and Ukraine abandons its bid to join NATO. Are Putin's terms acceptable to you?
First of all, our veterans and our soldiers can't stand this guy. They
Can you
can't
answer the
stand
question,
him.
buddy?
He's the worst commander-in-chief, if that's what you call him, that we've
Can you
ever
answer
had.
the question,
they can't stand
buddy?
him. So let's get that straight. And they like me more than just about any of them.
They like
and
me
that's
so
based on
much.
every single bit of information.
Oh,
As far as-
that's a bad Biden. I don't care for smiley Biden.
Oh god, keep it paused, keep it paused.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
That is haunting. Oh no.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, that's really bad. Jesus.
Russia and Ukraine. If we had a real president, a president that was respected by Putin, he would have never invaded
Oh, and he's
Ukraine.
trailing off with the smile. He forgot why he's smiling. He looks like Milton Berle.
It looks like he's having a stroke.
Oh, he looks like he's J. Owen.
A lot of people are dead right now, much more than people know. You know, they talk about numbers. You can double those numbers, maybe triple those numbers. He did nothing to stop it. In fact, I think he encouraged Russia from going in. I'll tell you what happened. He was so bad with Afghanistan. It was such a horrible embarrassment, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, that when Putin watched that and he saw the incompetence, that he should have fired those generals, like I fired the one that you mentioned. And so he's got no love lost. But he should have fired those generals. No general got fired for the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, Afghanistan, where we left billions of dollars of equipment behind. We lost 13 beautiful soldiers, and 38 soldiers were obliterated.
13 beautiful soldiers and Ram Ranch.
By the way, we left people behind too.
the
We left
vaccine
American
made
citizens
Biden,
behind.
not Biden. The vaccine made Trump buy, you know? Hey, we stand.
The vaccine gave Biden autism, so I believe it.
When Putin saw that, he said, you know what? I think we're going to go in and maybe take this was his dream. I talked to him about it, his dream. The difference is he never would have invaded Ukraine. Never.
I guess we are pivoting into, like, a Ukraine question, I guess. All right.
Just like Israel would have never been invaded in a million years by Hamas. You know why? Because Iran was broke with me. I wouldn't let anybody do business with them. They ran out of money. They were broke. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money.
If we're giving him, if we're being fair, Trump was so crazy and unpredictable that, like, people were probably like, oh man, if we do anything, Trump's gonna just randomly nuke us or carpet bomb us or something. Like,
yeah, you have a guy who's popular for firing in charge of the nuclear football.
Yeah, bad idea.
Yeah, he probably kept people in line at least, but maybe not, the best
or anything.
thing.
No money for terror. That's why you had no terror at all during my administration. This place, the
I
whole
need a
world
source
is
on
blowing
that.
up under him.
President Biden?
I've never heard so much malarkey in my whole life. Look, the fact of the matter is...
Oh, he said the word. Everyone's bringing out their catchphrases.
President Biden?
I've never heard so much malarkey in my whole life. Look,
Malarkey, that's good. Malarkey!
The fact of the matter is that we're in a situation where, let's take the last point first. Iran attacked American troops, caused brain damage for a number of these troops. And
brain damage?
You know a lot about brain
damage.
Did nothing about it. Recently, not when he was president. They were very tight. He said they're just having headaches. That's all it is.
Somebody could probably make a really good compilation of all of the stammering that he does. This is just probably like 5 minutes of...
Yeah, just cut out all the stammering and then cut out all of the, like, coherent words and just see which one's longer.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you got to figure out at least the percentage of it that's stammering. That would be a great, like, YouTube poop. Mr. Biden, what's your opinion? All right, thank you, Mr. Trump.
China.
When the attack took place, number one. Number two, we got over 100,000 Americans and others out of
I've noticed that Biden
Afghanistan
can't count to
during that airlift. Number three, we found ourselves in a situation where, if you take a look at what Trump did in Ukraine, this guy told Trump, do whatever you want and do whatever you want. And that's exactly what Trump did to Putin, encourage him, do whatever you want. And he went in. And listen to what he said when he went in. He was going to take Kyiv in 5 days, remember? Because it's part of the old Soviet Union. That's what he wanted to reestablish, Kyiv. And he, in fact, didn't do it at all.
Why do we need to change things like Kiev now needs to be Kyiv? I'm really Kieved off about this.
It's specifically a separation from the Russian language to the Ukraine language. That's why if you look on the And I thought this was a mistake at first, but if you look on the Xbox and PlayStation stores, the Stalker re-release is a Shadow of Chornobyl instead of Chernobyl, and that's the Ukrainian spelling of it.
Oh,
I thought it was a mistake at first. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a Ukrainian game.
Chernobyl sounds like Chernobog, though, so it sounds Satan-y and demon-y. Chernobyl just sounds fat and ugly. I don't know, but I guess that's fair. It's
I mean, I'll agree with the second one, but I don't know what the hell you're talking about there with the first one.
Chernobyl. Listen, I don't know.
Unable to get it done. They've lost thousands and thousands of troops. 500,000 troops.
President Trump,
I never said that.
For 1 minute, I just want to go back to my original question, which is, are Putin's terms acceptable to you? Keeping the territory in Ukraine.
No, they're not acceptable. But look, this is a war that never should have started. If we had a leader in this war, he led everybody along. He's given $200 billion now or more to Ukraine. He's given $200 billion. That's a lot of money. I don't think there's ever been anything like it. Every time that Zelensky comes to this country, he walks away with $60 billion. He's the greatest salesman ever. And I'm not knocking him. I'm not knocking anything. I'm only saying the money that we're spending on this war.
He's got a rod.
We shouldn't be spending. It should have never happened. I will have that war settled between Putin and Zelensky as president-elect before I take office on January 20th. I'll have that war settled. People being killed so needlessly, so stupidly, and I will get it settled, and I'll get it settled fast before I take office.
He should have pointed over at Biden when he said stupidly.
Biden, you have a minute.
The fact is that Putin is a war criminal. He's killed thousands.
You know a lot about
people.
war criminals, Biden. You are
clear. He wants to reestablish what was part of the Soviet Empire, not just a piece. He wants all of Ukraine. That's what he wants. And then you think he'll stop there? Do you think he'll stop when if he takes Ukraine? What do you think happens to Poland? What do you think of Belarus? What do you think happens to those NATO countries? And so if you want a war, you ought to find out what he's going to do, because if in fact he does what he says and walks away, and by the way, all that money we give Ukraine and from weapons we make here in the United States, we give them the weapons, not the money at this point. And our NATO allies have produced as much funding for Ukraine as we have. That's why we're strong.
Thank you. Moving on to the Middle East. In October, Hamas attacked Israel, killing more than 1,000 people.
Hang on, let me play some Gobi's Valley music to really fit the tone. Everybody is going to love it. It's going to be so sensitive. We're going to finally find out about the problem with Palestine from Turkey Tom. I'm so excited.
Thank you. Moving on to the Middle East. In October, Hamas attacked Israel, killing more than 1,000 people and taking hundreds of hostages. Among those held and thought to still be alive are 5 Americans. Israel's response has killed thousands of Palestinians and created a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. President Biden, you've put forward a proposal to resolve this conflict, but so far Hamas has not released the remaining hostages, and Israel is continuing its military offensive in Gaza. So what additional leverage will you use to get Hamas and Israel to end the war? You have 2 minutes.
Number one, everyone from the United Nations Security Council straight through to the G7 to the Israelis and Netanyahu himself have endorsed the plan I put forward.
I'm sorry.
Straight
They
through the
zoom out
G7.
here. He looks dead. This is a body of a corpse. He looks like he's been found in a tomb and he's been dead for 20 years.
It looks like they've attached him to, like, you know those scientific skeletons you see in science class? It looks like they attached him to the frame of one of those and he's just dangling.
And his skin is so leathery too. It's the skin has already died. It's decomposed. He's just waiting. The rest of him is waiting to die.
To the Israelis and Netanyahu himself have endorsed the plan I put forward.
Biden wants
we gotta find this motherfucker's phylactery.
Trade hostages for a ceasefire. Second phase is a ceasefire with additional conditions. The third phase is the end of the war. The only one who wants the war to continue is Hamas. Number one, they're the only ones standing out. We're still pushing hard to get them to accept. In the meantime, what's happened in Israel? We're finding.
Wait. The Hamas is the. Wait, hang on. I think is Joe pro-Israel? I don't understand.
Yes, he is. Yes.
Yep.
He specifically denies that I'm about to get controversial, so my opinions do not necessarily reflect those of Mr. Deadwing Dork himself.
Sure.
But he absolutely denies that Israel wants to wipe out Palestine. So that's cool.
That's interesting. So is Trump? Well,
We're not
Trump
even at the bad part yet.
Is Trump pro-Israel too?
Let's just wait and see.
Okay, I'm really out of the loop on a lot of this stuff because it makes me sad and stuff. So like I just try to watch Doctor Who and laugh at stupid people and I'm good. Nothing I do will ever influence the Middle East. So hey, I don't need to try. Hey. So Biden is pro Israel.
Face.
Yeah, he's trying his best.
Looks like his soul's leaving his body.
He's having his Indiana Jones moment. You know, he which one is that where the guy ages? Is that the third one? I think that's the third one.
Shit, I forget.
It's the Holy Grail.
I'll watch those.
Yeah.
Pushing hard
The other one's face
to get them to accept. In the meantime, what's happened in Israel? We're finding that the only thing I've denied Israel was 2,000-pound bombs. They don't work very well in populated areas. They kill a lot of innocent people. We're providing Israel with all the weapons they need and when they need them. And by the way, I'm the guy that organized,
including white phosphorus,
Iran when they had a full-blown intercontinental ballistic missile attack on Israel. No one was hurt. No one Israeli was accidentally killed, and it just stopped. We saved Israel. We are the biggest.
Sounds like he's breaking down, crying.
Israel of anyone in the world, and so there are two different.
Look at that face from Trump.
Trump is just. I mean, like, I'm sorry. I know whatever you got to say about him. If you are not aware of politics and you watch this and you're trying to be convinced by one of them, you've been convinced by Trump. Probably. Yeah. He is the clear. Like, he just. Like, down to the shoulders. I don't know if you guys have noticed, like, Biden has, like, these slumped, pathetic beta male shoulders. And Trump's, I don't know, maybe he's got, like, shoulder pads or something, but he looks like he's, you know, back straight, he's good posture, whatever.
Oh, okay. Humphrey Horsehead, listen. You know, we're not a fan of the Israeli government, but maybe don't make Jew jokes, buddy.
Yeah, that's not necessary.
I'll give you 5 minutes.
Listen. I understand a lot of lefties are getting weirdly anti-Semitic now because it's become like cool to do so or something. So it's like maybe we don't need that, you know.
Not allowed to be continued. We continue to send our experts and our intelligence people as to how they can get Hamas like we did bin Laden. You don't have to do it. And by the way, they've been greatly weakened, Hamas, and they should be. They should be eliminated. But you've got to be careful for using certain weapons among population.
Well, I mean, Hamas is like a terrorist group or whatever. If you just say they, like Hamas, the terrorists.
They also hold political sway.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's
like,
a little
maybe
complicated.
They probably shouldn't, given. I mean, I've heard that Malcolm X is both like the greatest thinker of our time and also an evil terrorist. So, like, for all I know, Hamas is not nearly as bad as the way that, you know, a lot of people are spinning them to look. But, like, you know, from what I've heard, it doesn't sound like they're exactly, you know, as Hassan might put it, they're not exactly Luffy and his fucking nakama, you know.
They're
not
happy-go-lucky
protagonists or anything. No, so it's
they are at best, you know, they are at best politicians and at worst, and that's not a great thing to be at best, frankly. So, So, and I mean, ultimately, it just seems like there's a lot of people in the middle that are getting unfortunate things happening to them. So it's like, you know. Whatever side is happening here, it seems weird. I didn't expect, because I'm out of the loop, I didn't expect the blue guys to be, I mean, everybody who's like pro-Palestine is always like pro-everything else that the blue guys there's a reason we call him Genocide Joe.
I see. That's a good one. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you
haven't
heard
back to Ukraine for 1 second. We have
That's better than Brandish.
Oh my God!
Wait, what's the new pivot?
Using certain weapons among population centers.
So they're talking about Israel.
Just going back to Ukraine for 1 second.
Oh my God, John!
We have the ocean separating us. The European nations together have spent 100 billion, or maybe more than that, less than us. Why doesn't he call them and say, you got to put up your money like I did with NATO? I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. The Secretary General of NATO said Trump did the most incredible job I've ever seen. They wouldn't have any. They were going out of business. We were spending almost 100% of the money was paid by us. He didn't do that. He's getting all. You got to ask these people to put up the money. We're over $100 billion more spent, and it has a bigger impact on them because of location, because we have an ocean in between. You got to ask them. As far as Israel and Hamas, Israel's the one that wants to go. He said the only one who wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job.
Correct.
He doesn't want to do it. He's becoming
incorrect.
Palestinian.
Pause. So he was right for a split second. Israel's the one who wants to keep going, and then the motherfucker just supported ethnic cleansing. Cool, that's great. I'm so glad that's one of our options.
Yeah, well, it's either Genocide Joe, I guess, or it's this guy who
Genocide Trump
seems to want him to go even harder.
Even Genocide Joe over here looks pained at what he's heard, and I feel that.
The terminology, like, you know, what was that, like, finish the job? It's like, so kill them all then, round them all up, put them in camps? It's not good.
That's the terminology you use when you're, like, pest control.
Yeah.
And you're like halfway through spraying the house, and you're like, okay, time to finish the job.
Yeah, that's exploding varmints talk. I don't like that. We don't need that for the
because
president.
He's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one.
President Biden, you have a minute.
I've never heard so much foolishness. This is a guy who wants to get out of NATO. Are you going to stay in NATO?
Is it foolishness to support ethnic cleansing? I mean, I suppose. You know, it's not wise.
The idea that we have our strength lies in our lives as well.
Cooked, man.
It may be a big ocean, but we're able to avoid a war in Europe.
We are fucking
Europe.
here.
What happens if, in fact, you have Putin continue to go into NATO? We have an Article 5 agreement. Attack on one is attack on all. You want to start the nuclear war he keeps talking about, go ahead. Let Putin go in and control Ukraine and then move on to Poland and other places. See what happens then. He has no idea what the hell he's talking about. And by the way, I got 50 other nations around the world to support Ukraine, including Japan and South Korea, because they understand that this kind of dislocation has a serious threat to the whole world peace. No major war in Europe has ever been able to be contained just to Europe.
President Trump, just to follow up, would you support the creation of an independent Palestinian state in order to achieve peace in the region?
I'd have to see, but before we do that, the problem we have...
Donald, just answer one question.
Is that we spend all the money. So they kill us on trade. I made great trade deals with the European nations. Because if you add them up, they're about the same size economically. Their economy is about the same size as the United States. And they were no cars, they don't want anything that we have. But we're supposed to take their cars, their food, their everything, their agriculture. I changed that. But the big thing I changed is they don't want to pay. And the only reason that he can play games with NATO is because I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. I said, and he's right about this, I said, no, I'm not going to support NATO if you don't pay. They asked me that question, would you guard us against Russia, at a very secret meeting of the 28 states at that time, nations at that time. And I said, no, if you don't pay, I won't do that. And you know what happened? Billions and billions of dollars came flowing in the next day and the next months. But now we're in the same position. We're paying everybody's bills.
Let's turn to the issue of democracy. Former President Trump, I want to ask you about...
He didn't answer the question at all.
Of course he didn't. Answer. But let's talk about democracy. That seems like that's what's at stake right now. So, I mean...
Oh, just wait. He completely avoids one question. Like, completely.
Exciting.
January 6, 2021, after you rallied your supporters that day, some of them stormed the Capitol.
Billions and billions.
Counting of electoral votes. As president, you swore an oath to, quote, preserve, protect, and defend, unquote, the Constitution. What do you say to voters who believe you violated that oath through your actions and inaction on January 6 and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I don't think too many believe that. And let me tell you about January 6th. On January 6th, we had a great border. Nobody coming through. Very
the border. Here
what?
we go. Our eyes weren't really looking to the border on January 6th. The enemy was within at that point.
On January 6th, we were energy independent. On January 6th, we had the lowest taxes.
Can I get a source on that one?
Regulations ever. On January 6th, we were respected all over the world. All over the world, we were respected. And then he comes in, and we're now left at a bunch of stupid people.
I cackled and it didn't pick up on the audio.
Oh, I heard it. It was good. It was a good cackle. Yeah. I mean, I think it's very America.
On January 6, 2021, we were respected.
Yeah, it's very America-centric to act like all people already found America stupid before Trump, and Trump just exacerbated that. Trump made it worse.
This is like a pre-9/11 thing, even.
Oh, people have hated America for a long time. I've been told that if I'm very lucky if I go to another country, I'm Canadian. They apparently treat Canadians a lot better than they treat Americans. If you're American, you're supposed to go to another country and put like Canadian tags in all your luggage and shit so that people think you're Canadian, so they don't scam you and leave you to die, which is apparently what they do because they don't like Americans. So I'm just saying, like, you know, Trump only made things worse. It's not like we were the fucking amazing. I just did it. Amazing. It's not like America, you know. But we're stuck with over here in Canada. We're stuck with skibbity fucking what's his name? Oklahoma. Trudeau. We're stuck with him. Yeah, we're stuck with him. And there is an upset recently in Toronto where he apparently he got surprisingly voted against in a very typically liberal neighborhood. So the throne might be dethroned. He might be out, but that just means we're stuck with like God and Bible and God, which is not great, you know. Our conservative party is it's like the middle road between Biden and Trump, where it's just like boring losers that are, you know, kind of inoffensive, but still just boring losers, and they have like weird backwards beliefs, you know, so not great. We don't have a lot of options either, unfortunately. If you're thinking come to Canada, it'll be better here. Oh, they've got 3 parties there. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's not better.
Bougie.
That what happened to the United States' reputation under this man's leadership is horrible, including weaponization, which I'm sure at some point you'll be talking about, where he goes after his political opponent because he can't beat him fair and square.
You have 80 seconds left.
Buddy.
My question was, what do you say to those voters who believe that you violated your constitutional oath through your actions and inaction on January 6, 2021, and worry that you'll do it again?
Well, I didn't say that to anybody. I said peacefully and patriotically. And Nancy Pelosi, if you just watched the news
they
from 2 days
peacefully
ago,
and patriotically
on tape to
brought
her daughter,
fucking
who's a
zip ties
documentary
along with them, too.
filmmaker, like they say. But she's saying, oh, no, it's my responsibility. I was responsible for this. Because I offered her 10,000 soldiers or National Guard, and she turned them down. And the mayor of, in writing, by the way, the mayor, in writing, turned it down, the mayor of D.C. They turned it down. I offered 10,000 because I could see. I had virtually nothing to do. They asked me to go make a speech. I could see what was happening. Everybody was saying they're going to be there on January 6th. They're going to be there. And I said, you know what? There's a lot of people coming. You could feel it. You could feel it, too, and you could feel it. And I said, they ought to have some National Guard or whatever. And I offered it to her. And
well, wasn't this lies? Wasn't he like busy doing a fucking speech like 2 blocks away, and he was like, he like directed people toward doing that or something? Or was that like a few days before? Maybe I remember he like incited.
I try to forget that whole period of time.
I think he was actively doing something that day. I feel like that's a lie.
she now admits that
Sure,
she
though.
turned it down.
He did post
And was
about it on
the same
Twitter.
day. She was, I don't know, she can't be very happy with her daughter because it made her into a liar. She said, I take full responsibility for January
It was the
6th.
woman's fault? Well, obviously.
President Biden?
Look, he encouraged those folks to go up on Capitol. I saw him in the dining room off the Oval Office.
He sounds like a dust cloud should be coming out of his mouth every time he exhales.
It's just so unfortunate. Jesus Christ.
He encouraged those folks to go up on Capitol. I sat in the dining room off the Oval Office. He sat there for 3 hours watching, being begged by his vice president and a number of his colleagues on the Republican side as well to do something, to call for a stop, to end it. Instead, they talked about these people being patriots and great patrons of America. In fact, he says he'll now forgive them for what they've done. They've been convicted. He says he wants to commute their sentences and say that no. But he went to every single court in the nation. I don't know how many cases, scores of cases, including the Supreme Court. They said, no, this guy is responsible for doing what was done. He did do a damn thing, and these people should be in jail, and they should be the ones who are being held accountable. And he wants to let them all out. And now he says if he loses again, such a whiner that he is, that there could be a bloodbath.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
What they've done to...
Well, that absolutely is true. He is a whiner.
I couldn't understand a word of that.
He called him a whiner. That's the one. That's the first good point.
Okay,
Biden
yeah,
said.
actually.
I agree with that.
To some people that are
Single
so innocent,
Biden W.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself. What you have done, how you've destroyed the lives of so many people. When they ripped down Portland, when they ripped down many other cities. You go to Minnesota, Minneapolis, what they've done there with the fires all over the city. If I didn't bring in the National Guard, that city would have been destroyed. When you look at all of the... They took over.
I think you overestimate the power of some angry
They saw them coming and they left immediately. What he said about this whole subject is so off. Peacefully patriotic. One other thing. The Unselect Committee, which is basically 2 horrible Republicans that are all gone now, out of office, and Democrats, all Democrats, they destroyed and deleted all of the information they found because they found out we were right. We were right. And they deleted and destroyed all of the information. They should go to jail for that. If a Republican did that, they'd go to jail.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, I want to give you a minute.
Well, I don't know the truth of that, but I will say they sure fucked over Bernie and probably a lot of other people. So, like, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking over going on in politics.
I think Brianna Wu works for the fucking Democrat Party, so that tells you all you need to know. I might be wrong, but that's what I heard.
Trump looks like he's nuts.
It was good.
The fact of the matter is,
come and get the gym.
What he's telling you is simply not true. The fact is that there was no effort on his part to stop what was going on up in Capitol Hill. And all those people, every one of those who were convicted, deserves to be convicted. The idea that they didn't kill somebody, just went in and broke down doors, broke the windows, occupied offices, turned over desks, turned over statues. The idea that those people are patriots? Come on. When I asked him the first two debates we had, first time around, I said, will you denounce the Proud Boys? He said, no, I'll tell them to stand by. The idea he's refusing to...
I would love
that was a wild quote.
We need AI Biden to start talking about Wendigoon and his very far-right beliefs.
Will you denounce these guys? Will you denounce the people we're talking about now? Will you denounce the people who attacked that Capitol? What are you going to do?
I'm going to give you a minute, President Trump, for a follow-up question I have. After a jury convicted you of 34 felonies last month, you said if reelected, you would, quote, have every right to go after, unquote, your political opponents. You just talked about members of the Select Committee on January 6th going to jail. Your main political opponent is standing on stage with you tonight. Can you clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you have every right to go after your political opponents?
Well, I said my retribution is going to be success. We're going to make this country successful again, because right now it's a failing nation. My retribution is going to be success. But when he talks about a convicted felon...
When was America not a failing nation? Let's really
now Biden looks like he's nutting.
He's
it looks like full painful. There's a bit of red in it, you know.
Oh no.
His son is a convicted felon.
No, he was still able to.
His son is convicted. Going to be convicted probably numerous other times.
But
should have been convicted before.
Donald,
Justice Department let the statute of limitations lapse.
Biden isn't Joe Biden isn't the fucking felon here. You are.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sure, his son's a felon too, but you're the one who's running for office, buddy.
I mean, this is what we're reduced to. Yeah, I mean, his son's a felon too, but you're a felon though. Like, welcome to America. This is amazing.
How many felonies did he get convicted of? Like 30 something?
I think. Or 36. 35?
What a guy.
Something
what a guy. Upstanding individual. We'll vote for him.
Well, he's got the more. He's like Mr. Girl. His family values are impeccable.
Trump's nothing.
But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo. That we're not going to do anything. We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor having to do with his son. This man is a criminal. This man, you're lucky. You're lucky. I did nothing wrong. We'd have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President.
Looks like he's just ready to I'll tell you what you start hitting him with his cane or something.
Yeah, he looks like he's about to throw a punch.
Trump, President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir.
I'm not sure if Biden's hand or Trump's jaw would disintegrate first.
Probably at the same time. Relative to what you're talking about is outrageous. It's simply a lie, number one. Number
he's
two,
got the vape pen in his
idea
hand.
that you have a right to seek retribution against
Represent.
Just because you're president is wrong. It's simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that before. No president in our history has spoken like that before. Number three, the crimes that you are still charged with.
Telling Trump that he's done something that no one else has ever done is just giving him a point, frankly.
You're feeding his ego, buddy.
You're emboldening him. Like, he looks very pleased with himself that he's now done something no one else has done. That looks like he's happy.
Civil penalties you have. How many billions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties for molesting a woman in public, for doing a whole range of things, of having sex with a porn star on the night while your wife was pregnant? I mean, what are you talking about? You have the morals of an alley cat.
Give your answer.
I didn't have sex with
morals of an alley cat kind of is an insane line. That goes kind of hard.
I guess that's a real disservice to alley cats, though. They didn't deserve anything. They're just in the alley.
It's also a very 1950s insult, to be fair. Which is when he was
when he was still a young
52?
Yeah, it was just a little while ago, yeah.
Porn star, number one. Number two, that was a case that was started and moved. They moved a high-ranking official, a DOJ, into the Manhattan DA's office to start that case. That case is going to be appealed and won. We had a very terrible judge, a horrible judge, Democrat. The prosecutor were all high-ranking Democrats, appointed people, and both the civil and the criminal. He basically went after his political opponent because he thought it was going to damage me. But when the public found out about these cases, because they understand it better than he does.
I will say, chat member, somebody says they both look like they could drop dead at any time. I'd say Trump looks better than he usually
Pull up
does.
the image, buddy. Pull up the image.
I mean, like, I'd say Trump looks better than he usually does, but please, God in heaven, please, Jesus above, I need your help on this one, buddies. This is like the, what is it, Day of the Doctor, where, you know, all 13 versions. Yeah, we need your help. We need all of you. All of
the Jesuses. The Jesus.
The Jesu. Yeah, they both look pretty elderly, but Trump looks better than usual. I mean, he's still got the orange skin and the pink eyes, but, like, he looks a little less orange than he typically does. Like, and he's, it's like a little bit less, fucked up. I thought IHE was in chat or something. Jeez.
Nah, I wish. That'd be cool.
That new superhero video that came out, I think.
There's no idea what these cases are. But when they found out about these cases, you know what they did? My poll numbers went up, way up. You know that because you're reporting it. And we took in more money in the last 2 weeks than we've ever taken in the history of any campaign. I don't think any campaign has ever taken. Hundreds of millions of dollars came pouring in because the public knows it's a scam, and it's a guy that's after his political opponent because he can't win fair and square.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, quote, Donald Trump and his MAGA Republicans are determined to destroy American democracy. Do you believe that the tens of millions of Americans who are likely to...
Biden right now is reminding me of the first time that I ever took an edible and it kicked in. It's just like he's like
it's so fucking accurate.
He's like whiplashing back and forth and like lagging in real time, like 10 seconds behind. What? Oh, I guess we're looking over here now. Okay. He's just in slow motion. He is currently reacting in Max Payne bullet time, but in real life.
Vote for President Trump will be voting against American democracy.
The more they know about what he's done, yes. The more they know about what he's done. And there's a lot more coming. He's got a lot of cases down the road coming around. He's got a whole range of issues he has to face. I don't know what the jurors will do, but I do know he has a real problem. And so the fact that, could you ever think you hear any president say that I'm going to seek retribution? Do you ever hear any president say that I thought Hitler had some good ideas? What got me involved to run in the first place after my son had died, I decided...
Did Trump say he thought Hitler had good ideas? Did Trump say that?
I don't know. I can barely fucking understand.
I know Kanye said that, but I don't know about
yeah.
Trump.
Yeah.
Listen, man.
Hitler was a very nice person.
Listen, man.
I really liked him. I'm slipping into my Trump. I played golf with him.
I'll bump college dropout any day, but that is some stuff, though.
In Iraq, because of Iraq, I said I wasn't going to run again until I saw what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia. People coming out of the woods carrying swastikas on torches, and singing the same anti-Semitic bile they sang when back in Germany. And the young woman got killed. They spoke to the mother, and they asked him. They said, "What do you think of those people? The ones who got killed, the one who tried to stop it, and the ones," he said, "I think they're fine people on both sides." What American president would ever say Nazis coming out of fields carrying torches, singing the same anti-Semitic bile, carrying swastikas were fine people?
Yeah, there was a whole thing about it
recently. I'd like to know what they are. The good thing.
It was like he was like exonerated of it, quote unquote, because like sure he didn't mean the Proud Boys, but like when you say find people on both sides and one of the sides is like, hi, we're white nationalists. Hi, how you doing?
Well,
we're gonna come and carry torches.
Some people that weren't that, but they're probably standing side by side with the people that are. So that's the basket of deplorables, I guess. I mean, they're all there.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
Maybe Hillary Clinton was right about that one single
Jake,
fucking
both
thing.
of you know that story's been totally wiped out because when you see the sentence, it said 100% exoneration on that. So he just keeps it going.
Apparently, he told everyone to go home on January 6th. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he did after everyone was like, "Bro, call your boys off."
Yeah, well, I mean, he did say, but it's misrepresenting him not to mention that at least.
Also, look at that. Oh man, he unpaused. Yeah.
Try to. There you go.
Oh hell yeah!
He's doing a lot of kissy faces.
Yeah, time. Actually, hang on. I gotta get both of their faces.
Yeah, Joe. Well, you gotta get them both at the same time. Joe looks very unhappy with Donald doing the kissy. He's like making out with himself. He's very pleased with himself right now. Let me know when I can unpause.
Yeah, go ahead. I got it.
Because
I
of
got it a
Charlottesville.
while
He didn't
ago.
run because of Charlottesville. He ran because it was his last chance. He's not equipped to be president. You know it, and I know it. It's ridiculous.
Oh, we
have a
all
debate.
know it.
We're trying
mean,
to
yeah.
justify his presidency. His presidency, he's without question the worst president, the worst presidency in the history of our country.
He is without question the most
Listen.
disappointing president since me.
We shouldn't be having a debate about it.
Nobody fucking knows who Franklin Pierce is. You know, I think that qualifies for, you know, at the very least, more forgettable president. I think that's a bit worse. You know.
Well, yeah, you'd rather, you know, better to burn out than to fade away.
There's nothing to debate. He made up the Charlottesville story, and you'll see it's debunked all over the place. Every anchor every reasonable anchor has debunked it. And just the other day, it came out where it was fully debunked. It's a nonsense story. He knows that, and he didn't run because of Charlottesville. He used that as an excuse to run.
President
Well,
Biden.
apparently the January 6th committee only read half of the tweet or something. I mean, if that's true, that is interesting. Yeah, Bo Biden's pretty upset here.
President Biden.
And debunk. It happened. All you have to do is listen to what was said at the time. And the idea that somehow that's the only reason I ran because I was worried a guy like this guy could get elected. If he thought they were good people coming out of that forest, carrying those woods, carrying those torches, then he didn't deserve to be president. Didn't deserve to be president at all. And the idea that he's talking about all this being fabricated, we saw with our own eyes. We saw what happened on January 6th. We saw the people breaking through the windows. We saw people occupying his own vice president. Look, there's a reason why.
All right, we know what
40
we saw.
of his 44
Get
top
on with it.
cabinet officers refused to
fucking
endorse
hurry
him
up.
this time.
Come on.
His vice president hasn't endorsed him this time. So
He's
why?
yapping.
Why? They know him well. They serve with him. Why are they not endorsing him?
Thank you, President Biden. We're going to be right back
Can't
with
wait till
more
the
from
next
CNN
debate. Yap 'em
presidential
all.
debate.
Oh, we're coming right back, everyone. It's so exciting.
All right, boys, time to go on a bathroom break. Quick, skip ahead.
Georgia.
Are we taking a break?
Nah, I was doing a joke. Quick, they're gone. Skip ahead.
Yeah. If only there were commercials, that would be the best part of the stream.
Let's talk about persistent challenges you both faced in your first terms and you'd certainly face again in a second term. President
Yeah, your
Biden,
age.
while black unemployment dropped to a record low under your presidency, black families still earn far less than white families. Black mothers are still three
Well,
times
listen, poor kids are
He
just
looks
as
shocked at this
valuable
news.
as white kids, so I mean, like, yeah.
more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes, and black Americans are imprisoned at 5 times the rate of white Americans. What do you say to black voters who are disappointed that you haven't made more progress?
There's
more crime.
The fact of the matter is there's more small black businesses that have been started than any time in history. Number two, the wages of black
Bo Biden would
unemployment
say.
is the lowest level it's been in a long, long time. Number three, we're providing housing for black Americans and dealing with the segregation that exists among these corporate
Count to
corporations
4, Joe.
to keep people out of their houses. And in addition to that, we find that the impact on the
Oh, God.
choice that black families have to make relative to child care is incredibly difficult. When we did the first major piece of legislation in the past, I was able to reduce black child care costs. I cut them in half. We're going to
So,
make
yeah,
sure
you
we
can't
provide
count
for
to
child care
4.
costs.
All right.
We've got to make sure,
That's
because
good.
when you
That's
provide
great.
those child care protections, you increase economic growth because more people can be in the job market. So there's more to be done, considerably more to be done. But we've done a great deal so far, and I'm not letting up, and they know it.
This is
You have
impossible
49
to
seconds
deal with.
left. What do you say to black voters who are disappointed with the progress so far?
I say I don't blame them for being disappointed.
You gotta
Inflation is
vote for
still hitting them badly. For example, I
the old
provided
white
for
guy.
the-
Yeah.
Listen, I worked
Blue
with a
old
black
white guy,
man
though.
one time, so you should vote for me. Trump's never worked with a black guy before. I did, so he was my boss, in fact. So I'm
He-
qualified.
Biden did, in fact, work with a black guy. That's true.
Yeah, his boss taught him a lot about DEI and bridge, so he should.
Yeah.
idea
So
that
he has
any
all of
black
the.
family,
Right man for the
first-time
job.
home buyer should get a $10,000 tax credit to be able to buy their first home, so they can get started. I made sure that we're in a situation where all those black families and those black individuals.
I wonder if it's
provided
possible
that
to
they
like
take out
send a
student
package
loans
from
that were
Amazon to the
ballooning,
White House. I just
that
want
if
to
they
send
were
this
great
guy like
gains in
6
nursing,
bottles of fucking cough drops.
And some Monster Energy,
If they
you know.
paid their bills for 10 years,
Yeah.
their student debt, all the rest is forgiven after 10 years. Millions have benefited from that, and we're going to do a whole lot more for black families.
Thank you, President Trump.
And he caused the inflation.
That
He's
sounded
blaming
sinister.
inflation, and he's right. It's been very bad. He caused the inflation, and it's killing black families and Hispanic families and just about everybody. It's killing people. They can't buy groceries anymore. They can't. You look at the cost of food where it's doubled and tripled and quadrupled. They can't live. They're not living anymore. He caused this inflation. I gave him a country with essentially no inflation. It was perfect. It was so good. All he had to do is leave it alone. He destroyed it with his Green New Scam and all this money that's being thrown out the window. He caused inflation. As sure as you're sitting there, the fact is that his big kill on the black people is the millions of people that he's allowed to come in through the border. They're taking black jobs now.
Oh
and it could be 18, it could be 19, and even 20 million people. They're taking
Either
black
y'all
jobs,
got a
and they're
drill.
taking Hispanic
Again with
jobs.
the border.
You haven't seen it yet, but you're going to see something that's going to be the worst in our history.
Maybe the black people should try to cross the border and jump over the fence or whatever and see if it works out better for them in Mexico than it does here. Here! Amazing! Good for me. Wow.
President Biden?
There was no inflation when I became president.
Black
Why?
jobs.
The economy was flat on its back. 50% unemployment. He decimated the economy.
Yeah, the
Absolutely
Mexicans are coming in and taking over all of the... Well, I shouldn't say that. Never mind.
Wow,
decimated the economy. That's why there was no inflation at the time. There were no jobs. We provided thousands of millions of jobs for individual and developed communities, including minority communities. We made sure that they have health insurance. We have covered, if the ACA has increased, I made sure that they're $8,000 per person in a family to get written off for health care. But this guy wants to eliminate that. They tried 50 times. He wants to get rid of the ACA.
A little bit,
and they're
not
gonna try
much.
again if they win. You find ourselves in a position where the
It doesn't feel like it.
We put more police on the street than any administration has. He wants to cut the cops. We're providing for equity and making sure people have a shot to make it. There's a lot going on, but in inflation, he caused it by his tremendous malfeasance in the way he handled the pandemic.
Thank you. Another persistent challenge is the climate crisis. 2023 was the hottest year in recorded history, and communities across the country are confronting the devastating effects of extreme heat, intensifying wildfires, stronger hurricanes, and rising sea levels. Former President Trump, you've vowed to end your opponent's climate initiatives, but will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
Well, let me just go back to what he said about the police. How close
I'm
the police
sorry,
are.
Donald. Can you answer the fucking question for once?
I mean, to be fair, they don't really let them interact, so it's like, if he wants to rebut something that Joe says, I mean, like, he kind of has to just append that to his, his thing.
Let's just wait and let him land with this one then.
Yeah.
How close the police are to him. Almost every police group in the nation from every state is supporting Donald J. Trump. Almost every police group. And what he's done to the black population is horrible, including the fact that for 10 years he called them super predators. In the 1990s, we can't forget that. Super predators was his name, and he called it to them, and they've taken great offense at it, and now they see it happening. But when they see what I did for criminal justice reform and for the historically black colleges and universities, where I funded them and got them all funded, and the opportunity zones with Tim, as you know, Tim Scott was incredible. He did a great job.
Shut the fuck
great
up,
senator
Stevie
from
J.
South Carolina.
I want to be cold
He came to me
at
with the
all
idea, and
points
it was
in
a
my
great
life.
idea. It's one of the most successful economic development acts ever in the country, opportunity zones. And the biggest beneficiary are blacks. And that's why we have the best numbers with them in maybe ever. They're saying ever. I read this morning.
All right, that's cool, buddy. But can you answer the question?
He's lost much of the black population because he's done a horrible job for black people. He's also done a horrible job for Hispanics. But wait till you see these millions of people pouring into our country, and they're going to take the jobs. And it's already started, and you haven't seen anything yet. It's a disaster.
38 seconds left. President Trump, will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
So I want absolutely immaculate clean water, and I want absolutely clean air, and we had it. We had H2O. We had the best.
I forgot we were talking about the climate crisis. My bad.
That's not climate change. You can have clean water, but still have a horrible fucking sweltering
nightmare
climate.
Yeah. Very different.
And we were using,
in fact,
all
I have
forms of
both
energy, all
right
forms, everything.
here.
And yet, during my 4 years, I had the best environmental numbers ever. And my top environmental people gave me that statistic just before I walked on the stage, actually.
I don't know where the hell he's been. The idea that anything he said is true. I've passed the most extensive climate change legislation in history. We find ourselves, and by the way, black colleges. I came up with $50 billion for HBCUs, historic black universities and colleges, because they don't have the kind of contributors that they have to build these laboratories and the like. Any black student is capable in college of doing any white student can do. They just don't have the money, but now they'll be able to get those jobs in high tech. We're in a situation where the idea that he is claiming to have done something that had the cleanest water, He hadn't done a damn thing for the environment. He pulled out of the Paris Peace Accord, Climate Accord. I immediately joined it because if we reach 1.5 degrees Celsius at any one point, there's no way back. The only existential threat to humanity is climate change.
This is the best hope that the fucking climate people have, everybody.
Please kill us.
Must undo
Please
all that I've
nuke
done.
us.
The Paris Accord was going to cost us $1 trillion.
Well, if
and
they're
China
not
nothing,
going to
Russia
use the
nothing.
fucking uranium to, you know, power our fucking homes, they might as well just use it to kill us.
Yeah, go for it.
And India nothing. It was a
Make
ripoff of the
Fallout
United
happen.
States.
Fuck it. I'll be
and
Walter
I ended
Goggins.
it because I didn't want to waste that money because they treat us horribly. We were the only ones. It was costing us money. Nobody else was paying into it, and it was a disaster. But everything that he said just now, I'll give you an example. I heard him say before insulin. I'm the one that got the insulin down for the seniors. I took care of the seniors. What he's doing is destroying all of our medical programs because the migrants coming in, they want everybody. And look, I have the biggest heart on the stage.
Always
I
with
guarantee
the
you that.
fucking
And I want to
border
take
with you. Jesus
It's the
Christ.
border again. No, I have a question. Wasn't it that one tweet? Oh God, Biden's looking skippity.
Dude, that's a hell of a smirk. I'm capping that.
That's a good one.
Accidentally opened settings again. Very
But
cool.
hang on.
in. They want everybody. And look, I have the biggest heart on the stage. I guarantee you that. And I want to take care of people. But we're destroying our country. They're taking over our schools,
Actually,
our hospitals, and they're going to be taking over
it's a tie.
Social Security. He is destroying Social
Neither of them have a heart.
Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
The idea is that we, in fact, we were the only ones of consequence.
We beat Medicaid.
How can we do anything
savagely?
the United States can't get
Bike chain.
under control? One of the largest polluters in the world. Number one, we're making significant progress. By 2035, we will
took
have
one of his
pollution in
teeth
half. We have made significant progress, and we're continuing to make progress.
Come on, man.
We set up a climate corps for thousands of young people to learn how to deal with climate, just like the Peace Corps. And we're moving in directions that are going to significantly change the elements of cause of pollution. But the idea that he claims that he has the biggest heart up here and he's really concerned about pollution and about climate, I've not seen any indication of that. And by the way, with regard to prescription drugs, one company agreed that they would reduce the price to $35, which I was calling for, one, voluntarily. I made sure every company in the world, every pharmaceutical company, cannot have to pay.
Yeah, I was going to say, wasn't that a tweet that forced the insulin price down or something? Somebody pretended on Twitter they went with the...
I think it caused their stock prices to crash. I don't think it did anything to the price. But real quick, I think it's really funny that Trump says that he has the biggest heart on the stage when like 30 minutes ago he called for ethnic cleansing.
Well, he believes in it with all his heart, though. So
yeah, of course. All 0.7 nanograms of it.
He wants to ethnically cleanse people with his whole pussy.
And by the way,
so every day, millions of Americans struggle just to make ends meet. For many older Americans, Social Security provides a critical lifeline. President Biden, if nothing is done to Social Security, seniors will see their benefits cut in just over 10 years. Will you name tonight one specific step that you're willing to take to keep Social Security solvent?
Yes, make the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share. Right now, everybody making under $170,000 pays 6% of their income, of their paycheck. Every single time they get a paycheck, it's the first one they get when they're 18 years old. The idea that they're going to, I'm proposing that everybody,
why is he always out of breath?
The millionaires pay 1%. So no one I would not raise the cost of Social Security for anybody under $400,000. After that, I began to make the wealthy begin to pay their fair share by increasing from 1% beyond to be able to guarantee the program for life.
So you still have 82 seconds left. Are there any other
measures? You got to give it to Trump, rather. I mean, he's been forced, I guess, to not call him a sleepy idiot. Your typical Trump performance on a debate is just him insulting the other guy and telling him he has like stupid hands and calling him gay or whatever. But
I genuinely want Donald Trump to be involved in every single election from here until the end of the universe. But I do not want him running. I want him moderating every single debate with two candidates he fucking hates.
That would be great.
I want to see that. Because that's the thing. He's a funny fucker. It's just, wow.
You gotta have
I'm scared of him.
You gotta have him give out the questions where he's just like, all right, Sleepy Joe, you're a stupid idiot and I hate you, but this question's for you. You do that sort of thing, but you don't want him actually running.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr., I tell you, third worst thing to happen to a Kennedy's head. That's your stupidity right there. Now your question is,
I had a crayon in my brain one time, folks. Much better than a worm. Let me tell you, much better. All my friends, my doctors, they tell me, Donald, you got a great crayon in your brain. It's the best crayon we've ever seen. 100%.
It's my favorite
bogus.
color. It's teal. I love it.
Help keep Social Security solvent, or is that one enough?
Well, no, that one enough will keep it solvent. But the biggest thing will do it if we defeat this man, because he wants to get rid of Social Security. He thinks there's plenty to cut Social Security. He's wanting to cut Social Security and Medicare both times. And that's what. And if you look at the program put forward by the House Republican caucus that he, I believe, supports, is in fact want to cut it as well. The idea that we don't need to protect our seniors is ridiculous. And by the way, the American public has greater health care coverage today than ever before. And under the ACA, as I said, you're in a circumstance where 400,000 people, 40 million people would not have insurance because they have a pre-existing condition. Only allows them to have that insurance is the fact that they in fact are part of the ACA.
When I was
And by the way,
playing Twilight Princess and fishing during it.
Black communities.
Jack's Films was fucking around with his soundboard.
For Pell Grants, another $8,000. So anybody making under $70,000 a year is going to be able to get $15,000 toward their tuition. He just doesn't know what he's talking about.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
So I've dealt with politicians all my life.
Biden, I don't think you know what
you're
talking about,
equation
buddy.
for the last 8 years. I've never seen anybody lie like this guy. He lies. I've never seen it. He can look you in the face.
That's such a claim from Donald Trump.
What a pair of faces.
Yeah, well, I'm more enamored.
I'm not going to cap that one.
I'm enamored by Joe Biden's liver spot scalp. It's really, I mean, shit.
Oh, it's great. You can see right through his hair.
Yeah,
amazing.
I'm getting the bald spot. You know, I'm gonna have to start getting Funko Pops soon. But this is quite something, though. This is really. I mean, I guess
wearing this fucking headset, I might develop one.
That'll happen. Yeah, Trump. Though he's got the eternal comb over, though, so that's always in fashion. You know, everyone's always been a big fan of Trump's hair. So,
about so many other things too, and we mentioned the laptop. We mentioned Russia, Ukraine. Everything he does is a lie. It's misinformation and disinformation. The losers
you know
and
about
suckers
that,
that he made up.
buddy?
It's a total lie on the military. It's a disgrace. But Social Security. He's destroying it because millions of people are pouring into our country, and they're putting them onto Social Security. They're putting them onto Medicare, Medicaid. They're putting them in our hospitals. They're taking the place of our citizens. What they're doing to the VA, to our veterans, is unbelievable. Our veterans are living in the street, and these people are living in luxury hotels. He doesn't know what he's doing, and it's really coming back. I've never seen such anger in our country before.
President Biden.
The idea that veterans are not being taken care of, I told you before. And by the way, when I said suckers and losers, he acknowledged after that he fired that general. That general got fired because he's the one that acknowledged it.
Oh, shit. I forgot that. Goddamn. Wow. Sleepy Joe got better memory than me.
Why are we? I mean, that's fair, but this is also kind of like a question.
We haven't even gotten to the stupidest part of the debate. You know, aside from Orange Man, haha, calling for ethnic cleansing.
Right.
Yeah. But that's what he said. He was the one standing with Trump when he said it. Number one. Number two, the idea that we're going to be in a situation where all these millions and millions, the way he talks about it, illegal aliens are coming into the country and taking away our jobs. There's a reason why we have the fastest growing economy in the world, the reason why we have the most successful economy in the world. We're doing better than any other nation in the world. And by the way, those 15 Nobel laureates he talked about being phony, those 15 Nobel laureates, economists, they all said that if Trump is reelected, we're likely to have a recession. And inflation is going to increasingly go up. And by the way, worst president in history, 159 presidential scholars voted him the worst president in the history of the United States of America.
President Biden, thank you so much. Let's turn to the cost of child care, which many American families struggle to afford. President Trump, both you and President Biden have tried to address this issue, but the average cost of child care in this country has risen to more than $11,000 a year per child. For many families, the cost of child care for 2 children is more than their rent. In your second term, what would you do to make child care more affordable?
Just to go back.
Close the borders.
The general got fired because he was no good. And if he said that, that's why he made it up. But we have 19 people that said I didn't say it, and they're very highly respected.
Donald, answer the
fucking
question. I swear to God.
He doesn't fire people.
They fucked up this debate format because they're not allowing him to have a response to what Joe says. But then that can go forever. You got to put your foot down eventually and just be like, all right, because then Joe would have a response to that. And so, yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense, but yeah, he probably should just focus on the fucking point of the question, but,
He never fired people. I've never seen him fire anybody. I did fire a lot. I fired Comey because he was no good. I fired a lot of the top people at the FBI, drained the swamp. They were no good. Not easy to fire people. You'd pay a price for it, but they were no good. I inherited these people.
Donald, you don't have a
Anybody
right
there.
to
He
say
was
that
no
you
good.
drained the
I
swamp.
fired him.
This shit's
guy hasn't fired
swampier than
anybody.
ever.
He never fires.
I'm not just
He
talking
should have
about my
fired
current state.
every military man that was involved with that the Afghanistan horror show, the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. He didn't fire. Did you fire anybody? Did you fire anybody that's on the border that's allowed us to have the worst border in the history of the world? Did anybody get fired for allowing 18 million people?
I thought you liked
many from
Border
prisons,
Patrol.
many from mental institutions. Did you fire anybody that allowed our country to be destroyed? Joe, our country is being destroyed as you and I sit up here and waste a lot of time on this debate. This shouldn't be a debate. He is the worst president. He just said about me because I said it. But look, he's the worst president in the history of our country. He's destroyed our country. Now all of a sudden he's trying to get a little tough on the border. He came out with a nothing deal, and it reduced it a little bit, like this much. It's insignificant. He wants open borders. He wants our country to either be destroyed or he wants to pick up those people as voters. And I don't think we just can't let it happen. If he wins this election, our country doesn't have a chance, not even a chance, of coming out of this rut. We probably won't have a country left anymore. That's how bad it is. He's the worst in history by far.
Thank you,
hopefully.
President Biden.
We're the most admired country in the world. We're the United States of America. There's nothing beyond our capacity. We have the finest military in the history of the world, the finest in the history of the world. No one thinks we're weak. No one wants to screw around with us. Nobody, number one.
Okay.
Number two, the idea that we're talking about worst presidents. I wasn't joking. Look it up or go online. 159 or 58, don't hold me the exact number, presidential historians, they've had meetings and they voted who's the worst president in American history, one through best to worst. They said he was the worst in all of American history. That's a fact. That's not conjecture. He can argue.
So do I
wrong,
search
but that's what
all
they
of
voted.
that?
The idea that he is knowing.
Should I have been taking notes?
Yeah, you need to fact check.
Yeah, probably.
The funny thing is, you'll see throughout the debate, you'll get this thing that pops up that's like, the fact checker app on your phone. It's like, shouldn't you guys at the news be like telling us when these people are lying? Why is that?
Well, I mean, this is
we
a
have on our
live
phone?
debate.
I
So,
guess,
you
but
know,
there's
they
moderators.
have to be really fucking fast.
I guess.
Deal with.
I forgot
We
what he
have to.
said.
He did
exactly,
virtually
so
nothing to
it's
child
not
care.
gonna get
We should significantly increase the child care tax credit. We should significantly increase the availability of women and men or single parents to be able to go back to work. And we should encourage businesses to have.
Thank you, President
child care
Biden.
facilities.
President Trump, the question was about what would you do to make child care more affordable, if you want to take your minute.
Just so you understand, we have polling, we have other things that they rate him the worst because what he's done is so bad. And they rate me, I'll show you, I will show you, and they rate me one of the best, okay?
Donald, can
and
you answer
if I'm
the
given another
question,
4 years, I will
please?
be the best. I think I'll be the best. Nobody's ever created an economy like us. Nobody ever cut taxes like us. He's the only one I know. He wants to raise your taxes by 4 times. He wants to raise everybody's taxes by 4 times. He wants the Trump tax cuts to expire. So everybody, including the two of you, are going to pay 4 to 5 times. Nobody ever heard of this before. All my life, I'd grow up and I'd see politicians talking about cutting taxes. When we cut taxes, as I said, we did more business. Apple and all these companies, they were bringing money back into our country. The worst president in history by far, and everybody knows it.
President Biden?
I mean,
Well,
this
fact
is
of the matter is
just getting to a point where it's just the same 2 fucking guys on repeat over and over again. It doesn't even matter what the question is; it's just the same answers.
That he's dead wrong about. He's increased the tariff. He will increase the taxes on middle class people.
My
said I didn't
opponent's a
raise the tax
stupid
on
gay
anybody making
loser.
less than $400,000. I didn't. But his tariff is 10% tariffs. Everything coming into the country. You know what the economists say?
Honestly, Biden
That's
just
gonna
needs
cost
to,
the
like,
average
pop
American
a slur right now.
$2,500 a year.
It'd be hilarious.
Because
Put him
we
on
have
his
to pay the
ass.
difference.
Win both sides,
Food,
yeah.
And all the things that were important. Number 2, he's in a situation where he talks about how he has not raised, he somehow helped the middle class. The middle class have been devastated by you. Now you want a new tax cut of $5 trillion over the next 10 years, which is going to fundamentally bankrupt the country. You had the largest deficit of any president in American history, number 1. Number 2, you have not, in fact, made any contact, any progress with China. We are the lowest trade deficit with China since 2010.
Thank you, President Biden.
You lost
Thank you, President Biden. Let's discuss an epidemic impacting millions of Americans that both of you have made a top priority in your first term, the opioid crisis. And for both of you, the number of overdose deaths in this country has gone up. Under your term, it went up. Under your term, it has gone up.
Trump is just obviously going to pivot this into the border, and I mean,
Yeah,
Former President Trump,
I'm
despite the
pretty
efforts
sure
of-
he does.
I mean, like, if anything is, that if you're gonna pivot any random shit into the border, it might as well be this, I guess. They're probably bringing some drugs and some crime. I don't know.
both of you have made.
Probably
More than
look like I'm
100,000
high,
Americans
but
are
I'm
dying
just
from
really
overdoses every
fucking
year,
sleepy.
primarily from fentanyl and other opioids. What will you do to help Americans right now in the throes of addiction who are struggling to get the treatment they need?
To finish up, we now have the largest deficit in the history of our country under this guy. We have the largest deficit with China. He gets paid by China. He's a Manchurian candidate. He gets money from China. So I think he's afraid to deal with them or something. But do you notice he never took out my tariffs because we bring in so much money with the tariffs that I imposed on China. He never took them away. He can't because it's too much money. It's tremendous. And we saved our steel industries. And there was
August 42nd is an actual date, but I just want to
more
make
to
it very
come.
clear
But he hasn't done
that's a
that.
joke.
But he hasn't cut the tariffs because he can't, because it's too much money. But he's got the largest deficit in the history of our country, and he's got the worst.
Also, that
the
Manchurian
worst
candidate
situation with
drop
China.
was
China's going to own us if
silly.
you keep allowing them to do what they're doing to us as a country. They are killing
I didn't
us
ask
as a
for
country,
that one.
Joe,
You did that
and you
yourself.
can't let that happen. You're destroying our country.
So,
Please,
President Trump, you
God.
have 67 seconds left. The question was, what are you going to do to help Americans in the throes of addiction right now who are struggling to get the treatment they need?
Jake, we were doing very well at addiction until the COVID came along. We had the 2.5, almost 3 years of like nobody's ever had before, any country, in every way. And then we had to get tough. And it was the drugs pouring across the border where it started to increase. We got great equipment. We bought the certain dog. That's the most incredible thing that you've ever seen, the way they can spot it. We did a lot. And we were getting very...
We bought the certain dog. We bought a dog and we gave him to all of the border. One dog for the whole border. He was a real
I'm
great
so
dog.
glad. Apparently it was a Chihuahua.
Oh, see the way he says a
That's-
certain
that's-
dog, it
that's-
implies one dog.
Yeah, that's not true. I'm just
low
fucking
numbers,
around.
very, very low numbers. Then he came along. The numbers, have you seen the numbers now? It's not only the 18 million people that I believe is even low because the gotaways, they don't even talk about gotaways. But the numbers
I don't think...
and human trafficking in women coming across our border. The worst thing I've ever seen. At numbers that nobody's ever seen under him because the border's so bad. But the number of drugs coming across our border now is the
Okay,
largest we've ever
finally,
had
you're
by
getting
far.
to the fucking
President Trump,
opioid
thank you, President Biden.
epidemic.
Fentanyl
Christ.
and the byproducts of fentanyl went down.
Oh my God, you just ended it.
Right when his question. Right when he's over, yeah. Finally gets to it. That was great. Well, it was the border. It's the border. Galactic Treaty.
Of course.
Galactic Treaty.
And
Well,
I
he
wanted
wants
to make
to-
sure we
you know,
use
he
a
wants to talk
machine where
about
they
the
can
border
detect
any
fentanyl.
chance he
These big
gets.
machines that roll over everything that comes
He's
across
very
the border.
interested in it.
And it costs a lot of money.
I think
That
it's
was-
funny that he tries to bring up the border so much, though, because like his border thing should be one of his worst positions, because he couldn't build the wall. Like he
Yeah,
didn't even
he
really
only
try to
got, like,
fucking build the wall. I mean, like
Motherfucking-
I think he could have built the wall, but he realized, like, at what everybody said, that it was impossible, so he just stopped. So, like, he shouldn't... If anything, like, I don't think you were doing much for the fucking border either, there, Jabroni. I don't know.
Part of this deal we put together, this bipartisan deal. More fentanyl machines, more be able to detect drugs, more numbers of agents. More
Trump is in the
numbers
chat right now. Hell yeah. What's up, Trump?
When we had that
Trump,
deal done,
welcome.
he called his...
Come on the
public
podcast,
defense and
buddy.
said, "Don't do it."
Yeah.
I'm
It's
gonna make
hurt
fun
me.
of you a little bit.
No, he never argued it's not a good
Edge.
bill. It's a really good bill. We need those machines. We need those machines. And we're coming down very hard in every country in Asia in terms of precursors for fentanyl. And Mexico is working with us to make sure they don't have the technology to be able to put it together. That's what we have to do. We need those machines.
Thank you, President Biden. Now, President Trump, and again, the question is about Americans in the throes of addiction right now struggling to get the treatment they need.
Well, this does pertain to it. He ended...
Well, he didn't get to really answer
What did he just
the
say?
actual question. I think he's doing another thing where he rebukes what was just said and not answering.
Yeah, take it back a couple seconds. What the fuck?
Americans in the throes of addiction right now struggling to get the treatment they need.
Well, this does pertain to it. He ended Remain in Mexico.
Oh
He
my
ended Catch
God.
and Release. I made it Catch and Release in Mexico, not Catch and Release here.
It's funny that Bo Biden's not even calling it out at all. He's not even at any point being like, would you settle down with Mexico? There's other issues, dude. I mean, at least Trump's not screaming about pronouns, but this is his pronouns. It's just screaming about Mexico.
Navigate over to it.
Pronouns!
There we go.
We had so many things that we had done, hard negotiations with Mexico, and I got it all for nothing. It's just like when you have a hostage. We always pay $6 billion for a hostage. Every time we say a hostage.
Oh shit!
now we have
Oh
a
shit!
hostage,
Pause
and
the
we're
fucking
recording.
video.
Oh no, I
We
see
got
it!
Joe Biden in chat too. Yo!
Oh! Yo, that's hot! That's hot!
Oh, what a fucking stream this has been.
What an exceptional adventure.
I think a good
Now
guy.
all we need is
and
Mahler
he's over
gang
there
in
because
chat.
Putin is laughing at this guy, probably asking for billions of dollars for the reporter. I will have him out very quickly, as soon as I take office, before I take office, I said, by literally, as soon as I win the election, I will have that reporter out. He should have had him out a long time ago, but Putin's probably asking for billions and billions of dollars because this guy pays it every time. We had 2 cases where we paid $6 billion for 5 people. I got 58 people out, and I paid essentially nothing.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
Let's turn to concerns that voters
Was
have.
that answering about the...
Yeah, that had nothing to do with the opioid epidemic, I don't think.
Who gives a shit?
I got all of the hostages out.
President Biden.
I saved them all myself.
Got the opioids out of their system too, I guess. I don't know. They were hopped
You would
up
be
on
86 at the end.
Oh my God, we're talking about how fucking old they are.
Let's turn to concerns that voters have about each of you.
I was really happy
President
that
Biden,
this was brought
you
up.
will be 86 at the end of your second term. How do you address concerns?
So he's not even 80. He's nearly 90. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I still can't believe that we have both Biden and Trump in chat right now.
I can't believe that either.
Thank you both. Very cool.
You know, like I remember Tom Baker shows up. We're talking about Doctor Who today. It's throughout the thread of the thing. Tom Baker shows up in like Day of the Doctor or whatever it is, and some of the behind the scenes footage. This was much later, actually. This was 2020, but Day of the Doctor, that was like 2020 or 2014. As an old man, he's a very old man, and you just see this like elderly 90-year-old, and it's like, imagine looking at this like a 90-year-old fucking guy, and he's like Joe Biden. No one looks at Joe Biden and thinks he can run a country. This is absurd. This is clown world.
Honestly, I think Tom Baker would be better at running a country than either of these people, which is wild because he's 10 years older than them.
Yeah, he's nearly 100, and he's got better hair, and he's, you know, better voice and everything.
He's funnier.
2020, he did a Transitus.
More lively.
He did all of the narration for the Arion album Transitus.
Talks about death a lot.
that album is about death.
Appreciates cheekbones.
That's true.
Very
that's
cool.
True. He doesn't really have very good cheekbones, so that's probably why. But, you know.
About your capability to handle the toughest job in the world well into your 80s.
Well, first of all, I spent half my career being criticized as being the youngest person in politics. I was the second youngest person ever elected to the United States Senate, and now I'm the oldest. This guy's 3 years younger and a lot less competent. I think that this, look at the record. Look at what I've done. Look how I've turned around the horrible situation he left me.
Buddy, the record's against you.
New jobs,
oh my God.
I don't think the record's all that good, dude. What are you talking about?
More investment in America.
The record is just a big fucking empty sheet of paper with written in red fucking Sharpie. It just says, "Get Obama back." We need Obama to regenerate into the 46th president or whatever. And then make way for the first Tunisian president, you know, after that.
Billions of dollars in private investment in enterprises that we are growing.
What would anyone want to at 86? That's a good question.
The whole idea.
Oh, damn.
He was drugged up yesterday.
He was drugged up.
And we lost it because he was sending people to...
Trump's just barely not old enough to talk about Blood Meridian. He also was rich too young, so he's not
keep his jobs overseas and then bring home a product. So I went to South Korea. I convinced Samsung to invest billions of dollars here in the United States.
What is he yapping about?
Guess what? Those fabs they call to build these chips.
He's still
those
confident,
fabs pay over $100,000.
Wait, hang on. Oh, okay. So Stevie J says he's on record saying the N-word in Congress 3 times. That's officially on record forever. However, he was reading a quote.
Well,
which is a little bit less funny, but also it's a bit funny.
I am reminded of the nostalgia critic adjacent individual Bennett the Sage, who used to review movies, and he reviewed a movie called They Call Him Boss N-word, and he he took that as an opportunity to, you know, I mean, it is the name of the movie, but it gets to a point where it's like,
he was fast and loose with it, right?
You're doing it because you can, can't you?
that's why I'm my first ever review on YouTube. It's going to be a 72-hour video essay on a certain 1993 space movie. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I might have gotten the year wrong.
You gotta do it for Pride Month though, and
I only have 2 days.
You missed it though. You got to do it for Juneteenth. That way you overlap both. That's perfect.
that the
Yeah, that's fair.
those fabs pay over $100,000. You don't need a college degree for them. And there's
Boss
billions,
fella.
about $40 billion already being invested and being built right now in the United States, creating significant jobs for Americans all over, from all over the world.
President Biden, you have 40 seconds left. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I would. The idea that
I'd like to add a
we are this failing
small
country.
fries.
I was just gonna say he just starts ordering food.
I've heard the president talk like this before. We're the envy of the world. Name me a single major country president.
I have two number nines.
The United States of America. For all our problems and all our opportunities. We're the most progressive country in the world. We're the strongest country in the world. We're a country in the world.
See, old Sleepy Joe, he's so dumb. He doesn't realize that he's gonna keel over if he has that much sodium. I like McDonald's. I can eat McDonald's all day. I'll have his meal for him once he dies.
My body is completely immune to sodium. My body does not retain any water.
Yeah, Trump's been dried and cured like jerky, so
it comes right out of me. You gotta see it. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah,
trust us, all of our allies, and our.
Don't get Trump out in the rain. He spoils like suede.
Those who he calls up to, from Kim Jong Un, he sends love letters to, and Putin, etc. They don't want to screw around with us.
Thank you. Former President Trump, to follow up, you would be 82 at the end of your second term. What do you say to voters who have concerns about your capabilities to serve?
Well, I took two tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one, a real easy one. Like go through the first 5 questions. He couldn't do it. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical exams every year.
Laughing
and,
Biden is fucking.
We knock on wood wherever we may have wood. That I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior. 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way. And I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit the ball 50 yards. He
grinding together as he
match.
forms a smile.
Biden's having a really good time with this one, though. You see, he's really enjoying himself.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to go back because there's some funky ass dialogue here.
Oh wait, yeah, let's see.
Through the first 5 questions, he couldn't do it. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical exams every year. And, we knock on wood wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior. 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way. And I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit the ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm as in good a shape as I was 25, 30 years ago. Actually, I'm probably a little bit lighter, but I'm in as good a shape as I was years ago. I feel very good. I feel the same. But I was willing to take a cognitive test. And you know what? If I didn't do well, I aced him. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, who's a great guy when he was White House doctor. And then I took another one, a similar one. And one of them said they've never seen anybody ace him.
Thank you. President Biden?
You can see he is 6'5" and only 223 pounds, or 235 pounds. Well, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, anyway, just take a look at what he says he is, and take a look at what he is.
Listen, this fellow mummified fucking corpse has a slightly lower punching weight than me, okay? So I win, all right?
Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president.
I mean, they joke. They really need to do this for the president, though. Oh wait, what happened? I'm just saying.
He's bragging about his golf handicap.
Oh, I see.
In the middle of a presidential debate.
Well, that's the thing. We need to have presidential. Fuck the debates. We need to have just the feats of strength. We need to have them do golf swings and how many bitches can they pick up in 5 minutes?
Rudy Giuliani. Fucking trial by combat.
Yeah, exactly. You have a Tony Hawk point combo thing where you gotta, impress the judges.
No. See, they're just playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Well, that's the best they can do. Yeah, I mean, it would be funny to see them die doing a kickflip or something. That would be also.
All right, so the important question: are they playing the original or the remake?
I mean, the remake's more accessible. I'd say that give them.
All right, so
Joe Biden needs a +6 handicap or something, so give them.
They don't need their they don't need their old dusty PS1s that they both got when they were. I'm trying to actually
72 years old each.
Yes,
It's
but
under that, I've heard, yeah.
Jesus Christ, they were in their 50s when the PS1 came out. Wow.
Yeah.
25 pounds, or 35 pounds. Well, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, that's what you're. Anyway, just take a look at what he says he is, and take a look at what he is. Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. The reason I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. And by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to carry on back.
You're not gonna beat me over the president. I golf a lot.
This is such a great frame of this debate, though. It's just Trump looking smug and yeah, come on, man. He looks like so distressed, and yeah, this sums the whole thing up.
I really like this section of the debates. It's just because I'm a better president than Sleepy Joe is. I play so much more golf than him. That's most of what I did during my presidency.
He's got his own golf course, you know. Listen, Obama loved his fucking golf too, so I'm sure Biden got his chance. But hey,
Think you can do it?
That's the biggest lie. He's a 6 handicap of all.
I was at 8 handicap.
Yeah.
8. But I have, you know how many?
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
Let's
not act like children.
President Trump, we're going to
21
Let's not act like children.
to a specific concern that voters have about you. Will you pledge tonight?
That, Don had to say that.
I mean, yeah, but is that not telling? He is kind of he's sinking to Trump's level with this like, I can beat you with the golf swing, and Trump wins with that because he's the baby man, but. When
you sink to his level, you lose.
Yeah, he knows because he's immediately like, let's not act like children, Joe. Here, come on now, come on, have some decorum here.
That once all legal challenges have been exhausted, that you will accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins, and you will say right now that political violence in any form is unacceptable.
Well, I shouldn't have to say that, but of course I believe that. It's totally unacceptable. And if you would see my statements that I made on Twitter at the time, and also my statement that I made in the Rose Garden, you would say it's one of the strongest statements you've ever seen. In addition to the speech I made.
Trump calls it Twitter. Get fucked, Elon Musk.
That's important. Yeah, I like that that probably pissed off Elon because he was watching. And he was like, "Are they going to mention my website?" And they did, and they didn't though.
My website, it's the Everything app.
It's X. It's the Everything app.
Yes, it's we're going to bring banking to it, and it's gonna be good. And don't look into my allegations.
Don't look into my likes page filled with like ball stomping or anything.
Well, I disabled the ability to look at that.
No.
In front of, I believe, the largest crowd I've ever spoken to, and I will tell you, nobody ever talks about that. They talk about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol, and in many cases were ushered in by the police. And as Nancy Pelosi said, it was her responsibility, not mine. She said that loud and clear. But the answer is,
we always blame the woman in this
and
chat.
I want that more than anybody. And I'll tell you something. I wish he was a great president because I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be at one of my many places enjoying myself. I wouldn't be under indictment because I wouldn't have been his political opponent because he indicted me
for that, buddy?
because I was his opponent. I wish he was a great president. I would rather have that. I wouldn't be here. I don't mind being here. But the only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president that I'm going to make America great again. We're going to make America great again. We're a failing nation right now. We're a serious...
You really needed to go for make America great again. Like, actually.
Doubling up.
We're going to do it again.
We're going to make America great again, for real this time. Last time was just the starter. What can you say?
This is Make America Great Again, Turbo Edition HD Redux,
It's a failing nation. And we're a failing nation because of him.
Make America
his policies
great again,
are so bad.
2016,
his military policies are insane. They're insane. These are wars that will never end with him. He will drive us into World War III, and we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine.
Trump's going to drive us directly into World War IV.
Very close to World War III.
Yeah, he's just going to skip through.
He's the real progressive.
Kim Jong-un and
it's like a Leisure Suit
China,
Larry.
Kim Jong-un of North Korea.
Actually, I think it's 4.
All of these, Putin,
it's like
they don't
Naked
respect
Gun.
him. They don't fear him.
Yeah.
They have nothing going with this gentleman, and he's going to drive us into
Trump's
World War III.
presidency is basically the presidential equivalent of a Naked Gun movie, so that makes sense.
It's fucking
You want a World War III? Let him follow and win, and let Putin say, "Do what you want, NATO. Just do what you want."
Doing it live.
There's a thing called Article 5. An attack on one is attack on all, and required response.
Can I get a fucking translation
idea,
for what the hell he's yapping about right now?
A single major
I don't know, but he looks like
trade place
he
with
looks
the job after
horrifying.
what they've done. because we are a powerful nation.
You can see his fucking his bugs shifting under his skin like Oogie Boogie.
He looks like fucking Skeletor. This is not good. We
Hey,
shouldn't
hey,
give this man power.
that is rude. That is rude. Skeletor looks so much better than him.
Well, Skeletor's got the cool Ruby Sunday's mom cloak and everything.
Oh shit! Oh, he's here actually.
Oh,
I heard you've been saying bad things about me, Clawman.
You know, Skeletor, I could really use a pizza right now, though, because that would be great. Because, man,
I don't have any pizzas.
Oh, well, what fucking good are you? Get out of here. Eat shit. Go run for president.
Now, we're needed. We're needed to protect the world because our own safety is at stake. And again, you want to have a war, just let Putin go ahead and take Kyiv, make sure they move on, see what happens in Poland, Hungary, and other places along that border. Then you have a war.
Shit, I'm hungry.
President Trump, as I come back to you for a follow-up, the question was, will you accept the results of this election,
he didn't
regardless
answer.
of who wins?
Just to finish what he said, if I might, Russia, they took a lot of land from Bush. They took a lot of land from Obama and Biden.
Can't one of them answer the question?
They took
Just
no
one.
land, nothing from Trump, nothing. He knew not to do it.
From Trump.
Not going to play games with me. He knew that. I got along with him very well, but he knew not to play games.
I love when he
took
talks
nothing
in
from
third
me.
person.
But now he's going to take the whole thing from this man right here.
Hilarious.
That's a war that should have never started. It would have never started ever with me. And he's going to take Ukraine. And, you know, you asked me a question before, would you do this? He's got us in such a bad position right now with Ukraine and Russia because Ukraine's not winning that war. He said, I will never settle until such time. They're running out of people. They're running out of soldiers. They've lost so many people. It's so sad. They've lost so many people, and they've lost those gorgeous cities.
This is so sad. The warmongering states
all because
losing
of him
people
and
to
stupid
monger their
decisions.
wars.
Russia would have never attacked if I were
President Trump,
president.
the
It's
question
sad.
was, will
It's
you
sad,
accept
but
the
also,
results
yeah,
of the
fuck
election,
Sad but true.
regardless of
Russian
who wins?
government.
Yes or no, please.
I should specify.
If it's a fair and legal and good election, absolutely. I would have much rather accepted these.
That is the oh god, what a face. that is the weaselest answer I've ever fucking heard, and it's yeah. If it's legal and if I accept it as good, then I'll accept it. Like it is so very much. I'm going to whine and bitch about this later because I feel like my win was squandered by more people voting for my opponent in key places.
My win was squandered and hard done. I was hard done by. They took my win away from me by me losing. They did it. So it's their fault, not mine.
Yeah, they're like if someone uses that answer, oh well, I'll accept it if it's a fair vote. They're absolutely going to bitch if they lose.
Yeah,
but if they win, it was fair.
Obviously, yeah,
we saw the exact same fucking thing with Hillary insinuating that Trump had Russian bots. The exact same thing happened in 2016, and yet history keeps repeating itself. I wonder why.
Of course. I mean, this whole stream is a testament to history repeating itself.
Surely it was only real when they got when they got Orange Man out. Surely that's the only time it was real. It wasn't real in 2016 because Orange Man won.
They wouldn't have biased it in favor of Orange Man, so it had to be the other way, obviously.
But the fraud and everything else was ridiculous. And if you want, we'll have a news conference on it in a week, or we'll have another one of these in a week. But I will absolutely. There's nothing I'd rather do. It would be much easier for me to do that than I'm running again. I wasn't really going to run until I saw the horrible job he did. He's destroying our country. I would be very happy to be someplace else in a nice location.
He looks really proud of the horrible job he's doing, too.
And again, no indictments,
he looks
no
like a
political
fucking
opponent
ghoul.
stuff, because it's the only way he thinks he can win. But unfortunately, it's driven up my numbers and driven them up to a very high level because the people understand it.
Let's see what your numbers are when this election is over. Let's see. You're a whiner. When you lost
Sounds
the first
like a
time,
Fallout goal.
you continued. You appealed and appealed to courts all across the country. Not one single court in America said any of your claims had any merit, state or local, none. But you continue to provoke this lie about somehow there's all this misrepresentation, all this stealing. There is no evidence of that at all. And I tell you what, I doubt whether you'll accept it because you're such a whiner. The idea if you lose again, you accepted anything, you can't stand the loss. Something snapped in you when you lost the last time.
We'll be right back. with more from the CNN presidential debate.
All right, well, on that note,
Can you not be right back, please?
Oh, we're almost over.
It's almost
Candidates will
done.
deliver their closing statements as
I'm ready for a
predetermined
nap.
by a coin toss.
Hell
We're going to
yeah.
begin with you, President Biden. You
I'm
have
ready
2
to
minutes.
cease to be.
We've made significant progress from the debacle that was left by President Trump in his last term. We find ourselves in a situation where, number one, we have to make sure that we have a fair tax system. I ask anyone out there in the audience, or anyone out watching this debate, do you think the tax system is fair?
no
The fact
audience.
is that I said nobody even making under $400,000 had a single penny increase in their taxes, and will not. And if I'm reelected, that'll
man,
be the
look
case
at my
again.
status.
But this guy has increased your taxes because of the deficit. Number one, he's increased inflation because of the debacle he left after the way he handled the pandemic, and he finds himself in a position where he now wants to tax you more by putting a 10% tariff on
Hell yeah,
everyone who's in the
elder
United
abuse.
States of America. What I did, when, for example, he wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare for us to be able to
Oh
negotiate.
my God, Joe, just die already, Medicare. Jesus
With
Christ.
the big pharma companies. Well, guess
Hey,
what?
hey, they
We got
beat
it-
Medicare.
We got it down to
It's true.
Excuse me,
It's all
$35
true, he did it.
instead of $400. No more than $2,000 for every senior, no matter how much prescription they need. You know what that did? That reduced the federal debt by $160 billion over 10 years because the government doesn't have to pay the exorbitant prices. I'm going to make that available to every senior. All along, it's happening now, and everybody in America. He wants to get rid of that. I'm going to make sure that we have child care. We're going to significantly increase the credits that people have for child care. I'm going to make sure we do something about what we're doing on
Looks sinister.
lead pipes and all the things that are causing health problems for people across the country. We're going to continue to fight to bring down inflation and give people a break.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, you now have 2 minutes for your closing statement.
Like so many politicians, this man is just a complainer. He said, we want to do this, we want to
Probably
do that,
a
we want to do this tax,
whiner.
that tax. But he doesn't do anything. He doesn't do.
God
all he
damn it.
does
Why
is
don't-
make
why
our
don't I
country
have this
unsafe
shit
by
on
allowing
hand?
millions and millions of people to pour in. Our military doesn't respect him. We look like fools in Afghanistan. We didn't stop Israel. It was such a horrible thing that would have never happened. It should have never happened. Iran was broke. Anybody that did business with Iran, including China, they couldn't do business with the United States. They all passed. Iran was broke. They had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah, for terror, no money whatsoever. Again, Ukraine should have never happened. He talks about all this stuff, but he didn't do it. For 3.5 years, we're living in hell. We have the Palestinians and we have everybody else rioting all
Genuinely
over
good
the place.
point.
You talk about Charlottesville. This is 100 times Charlottesville, 1,000 times. The whole country is exploding because of you, because they don't respect you, and they have to respect their president, and they don't respect you throughout the world. What we did was incredible. We rebuilt the military. We got the largest tax cut in history, the largest regulation cut in history. The reason he's got jobs is because I cut the regulations that gave jobs, but he's putting a lot of those regulations back on. All of the things that we've done, nobody's never seen anything like. Even from a medical standpoint, right to try, where we can try space-age materials instead of going to Asia or going to Europe and trying to get when you're terminally ill. Now you can go and you can get something. You sign a document.
It'd be really funny if it turns out Biden wins in spite of all this, just like how Trump upset everybody by winning last time.
Yeah,
Like,
it's entirely possible.
It turns out, wow, who expected this?
Anything at this point is possible.
We're cooked either way, so
Oh
fucking
yeah,
why
no,
not?
it's pretty terrible.
Trying to get it.
Better
for
the
42
devil
years.
that we
But
know
you know what
more
we did for the
recently.
military was incredible choice for our soldiers. Where our soldiers, instead of waiting for 3 months to see a doctor, can go out and get themselves fixed up and readied up and take care of themselves, and they're living.
Unless
And that's
they
why I had
want
the
an
highest
abortion.
approval rating in the history of the VA. So all of these things, we're in a failing nation, but it's not going to be failing anymore. We're going to make it great again.
Thank you, former President
Nice,
Trump.
line.
President Biden, stay with us because we have full analysis of this debate.
Biden, please stay with us. Please.
Biden, please don't fall over. Oh, well that
Fantastic.
that does it for the debate.
Don't disintegrate yet, Biden, please.
Yeah, that debate was rough.
It was hilarious.
That was
I
a
fear for the
miserable-
future.
That was a miserable nightmare of death, I would say.
I heard it described earlier as one of those like canceled comedian Netflix series, which they somehow have despite being canceled. But all of the jokes are real and they can hurt me.
Yeah, it's just painful through and through as a Canada. I mean, it's kind of funny to laugh at, but it trickles down to us. It floats down. So it eventually hurts me too, and I look at this, there's just no real great option. I mean, it's pretty clear who the fucking victor is going to be at this point, but I mean, there's any upset could happen, I guess. Who knows? Who knows which side the Russian bots will go with? It's tough to say.
I just hope that we don't
honestly,
get
yeah.
Trump Biden. I would.
I mean, Biden's
I
not
would
going to
commit
live for the next
atrocities
one.
upon my own body.
Biden will need to literally be 90 for the next one. I don't think it's going to fucking happen.
That's the thing with modern
Yeah.
medicine and the you know, the amount of clinging to old people that we do nowadays. It's possible. I could see a 96-year-old man running for office within the next like decade.
Well, that's
or two.
the funny joke, isn't it? It's somebody who turns 100 while they're in office still. I mean, and it would happen. It could totally happen.
I mean, it would break a record, but Jesus Christ, please, no.
Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the stream. We got $2 from King Cobra JFS's abused liver that just says Biden with the tails gets trolled face, and that's true. Throughout most of this,
Nice.
Throughout most various different,
Dude, like 90% of this fucking debate.
various reaction images.
There are a lot of them. I might have gone a little bit overboard.
That is the stream. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you had fun. We went quite long on this one. I didn't think I'd go all day. It's now 6 o'clock. We started this at like 10 in the morning or something.
It's so fucking late.
But now you can
I've been awake for like 26 hours.
Now you can rest.
Yeah.
Rest well, heroes. You've earned it.
That's the thing. It's gonna be the damnedest thing. I'm gonna lay down. Can't fucking sleep. I
believe it. That's how it'll be.
Yeah, that's probably how it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. Again, folks, check out Loud Equals Funny. What have you on all platforms? YouTube.
Episode number 50 with Cat Icarus. It's a good one.
Yeah.
I hope.
We just had.
I hope it's not secretly bad.
It was a really good one. It was a really good one. I thought we did well, and you know, it was an enjoyable.
I enjoyed it.
We all got to say penis and policeman at the end. We got to yell about stupid people, and I mean that's what this is all about, really. And most importantly, I mean we have to say penis here too, of course, because otherwise penis. I mean otherwise the stream's just not done properly, right? So,
Exactly.
Tristan.